I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you, Tyler.
What's up, gang? Today is January 8th, the year of our Lord, 2021. And I'm having fun. No, it's true. It's been a while. I'm having fun. I hope you noticed the tag. Got a new tag for the beginning of the show. That's close personal friend Charles Barkley just thanking me for, so much good advice. So much good advice I've given Chuck. But that's not why I'm having fun. I'm having fun because I got to watch crazy white people storm the Capitol. Have y'all seen this? Like Jay Leno, did y'all see this on the news screen? And I feel like we normally, you see something like that happen in a different country, and it's like, oh wow, like man, they stormed the Capitol building. That's crazy. When they gonna show the weather? What's the weather tomorrow? I'm trying to see if it's gonna be hot tomorrow. But now it's like the Capitol. Like I've been to the Capitol. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been inside it. I didn't know it was that easy to get inside it. I really didn't. Had I known, maybe I would have been inside the Capitol too. Like, dude, I bought shit at Best Buy, right? And the security at the door see me leaving from the checkout, still asked to see my receipt. Like that security's different than the Capitol security. But the reason I could really just sit back and enjoy it, we watched it for 2-3 hours on Twitch, man. Had a gay old time on Twitch. The reason I could really enjoy it is because I knew nothing was going to happen. Right? Like nothing was going to happen to them people. They were white. Nothing was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And if they did, if something did happen to them, I didn't really care if they got hurt. You know what I mean? Which made me wonder, is this how white people feel all the time? Is this the only feeling white people ever have? You just see some wild shit on TV and be like, that is awful. Just terrible. I'm going to bed. It just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? You know it's not going to really affect you in any way. But is this how white people feel all the time? Right now, not y'all listening. You Peckerwoods are all right. No, y'all all right with me. But I knew it'd be a little tear gas. At worst, they might twist your shoulder a little bit, throwing the cuffs on you. But even I was a little bit adventurous. They didn't even get that far. Now, I did see the lady that got shot, and she died inside the Capitol. And even after that, I feel like I saw a lot of people see, they shoot white people too. Instead of being like, hey man, the police is shooting and killing citizens. That was what I took away from it, not the see. They kill us too. What are you niggers upset about? But it's just the standards, the double standards, I should say, for what it takes the police to use lethal force or any force, right? We've got a clear line now. Like, to use lethal force for white people, you have to storm and invade a government building. While people are there, they ain't do this shit at like 2 a.m. neither. Like, they knew they was in there. That's the line for white people. For black people to have, lethal police force used on them, I mean, it just got to be like Tuesday. You know what I mean? You could be in Walmart. You could be a kid playing in the park. You could be selling cigarettes. You could be riding in a car with your wife and daughter. You could be playing games with your nephew. We could literally go on all day. And so one of the things I wonder is there going to be like punishment for the cop that killed her? I mean, she should have just followed the orders, right? She should have just complied. That's just what I was told. And again, I don't want to make light of that, right? I don't know if anybody wanted to see, the police or National Guard or whoever open fire on its citizens. But when you know that they can and will, it's kind of wild to be like, huh? Because the protester, they didn't do anything close to that. Like, that wasn't protesting today. That was terrorism, domestic, treason. There's a lot of words. Still no lethal force outside of one. And it was probably, boys being boys. It's probably an accident. But, had she just complied? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was told that the blue lives mattered. You understand? I know how James Harden feels about it. I seen the mask. But apparently they don't when they're infringing upon your rights, from what I saw from the people today. So, in black people's case, black and brown people, I should say, but mostly black men and women, like, the rights they're infringing upon is like living and breathing. In the whites' case, it's really like whatever the fuck they was mad about, right? I heard they said the vote was dishonest. People were saying, like, Biden's a liar. That's why they, upset. That's why he's not going to be inaugurated next week or 2 weeks from now, whenever. And it's like, you think a politician lied? You think that's how this worked? You think that's how this worked? Because he lied? They was talking about stuff on computers. I was like, that's interesting. You think, interesting. So, I don't know. But it just feels like easy to say any of that bullshit they were saying, really. Like, easy to say, yeah, you should have just complied. Why didn't they comply? But it's, again, easy to say that when you know that no matter what you do, you're not going to be fired upon. I don't even know if they used, like, rubber bullets. I don't even know if they brought those out. They was like, it's no need on people storming the Capitol. Meanwhile, you cut to, like, some of the activists, some of the heroes, I should say, that was working in and around Ferguson at the time Mike Brown was killed. 2 of them was found shot dead in cars that were set on fire. One of them was found hung himself in his front yard. Now, black people do commit suicide. Black people do hang themselves. Black people do not hang themselves from trees. That's just day one. They teach you that in Black 101. And then another one allegedly shot himself in front of the Ohio State House. Again, black people shoot themselves. That's not out of the ordinary. They're not doing it in front of no government building. I ain't buying that at all. So those two, among others, like, it was more than that. Those just the couple that I remember. I remember the guy that filmed Eric Garner's death up in New York. I think he had to, like, leave home, like, leave the state. Because he was like, no matter where, like, the police are just on my ass now. No matter what he goes, where he, like, it's always something. He always getting arrested, detained, stopped, harassed, something like that. And so it's just so wild to see it. Those people, those are the consequences for their actions. And the consequence for the Capitol storm. Do we have is there a name for them yet? The Capitol stormers. They got the gates moved for them. Like, Foot Locker just opened up. The ones are out. Yeah, y'all can come in. It's 9:00 now. They was in there taking pictures with the cops. Cops was holding open doors. They was helping people down the steps. You know what I'm saying? And again, meanwhile, it was peaceful protesters out there that got their eyeballs literally shot out. Literally shot out. At the same time, and people's in there taking selfies with cops. They got their feet up on the desk. And what was so crazy to me in like the interviews was like they'd ask the people for their name and they was giving like their whole name. They was spelling it. They was giving their mother's maiden. Like they hand them like they LinkedIn, they Twitter, they TikTok, all that. Like, yeah. And again, you can do that. It's something you can do when you know it'll be absolutely no retribution at all. Like they could not be any less concerned. Like, yeah, no, it was definitely me, John Smith. That's JOHNSM. Like they just had no concern about being found out. And that was just so wild to see. Because if you remember for the protest, they were telling people, hey, like cover up your eyeballs if you can. Because if they know that you got brown eyes, they're going to be on your head. People had to cover up their tattoos and their hair, anything identifiable, they had to cover up. I remember they said the police was like tagging cars, like they put a little spray paint on your bumper or something like that. Like, okay, if we see this car around town after, we can't get you tonight, but you know what I'm saying, you gonna get got. And so just just seeing both sides of that for the first time where it's like, oh wow, this is legit white on white violence. Like, what about DC, man? What about these whites, these unruly whites fighting these unrulier whites? You know what I'm saying? And I know the police was in a tough spot. They was buddies with a lot. It's got to be tough to, you know what I'm saying, when work becomes personal. The police have a tough job. I would never say that they don't. But they showed one dude in there, police, he was in there shaking like a leaf, man. And again, that's the whole point. It is a scary job. And if you ain't cut out for this, you don't need to be doing that job. Right? Again, it's a lot of jobs you can be a little unqualified for. Ones that are literally life and death, nah. Like I don't want my surgeon. I don't care how many books he read. I don't want my surgeon in there handshaking when you hand him the scalpel. So it was like watching a movie. It really was like, wow, this don't have no consequences to me at all. I can turn this off at any time. Go have a little dinner. And it just doesn't affect me at all. So that shit was just wild to see. It was wild to see, but it was fun to watch. It was definitely fun to watch. It's the new year. First fun report of the new year at Session Sheesh last week, so that didn't count. So happy new year and all that bullshit. Playoffs are coming up, the NFL playoffs. But before, I want to talk about that for a little bit. But first, this Dolphins business, man. Right? Like the Jaguars have the number 1 pick. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Done. Dolphins have the number 3 pick from the Texans trade. And word is they're looking at a quarterback. They weren't sold on the, 8 or 9 games Tua play. Now, again, that seemed extreme to me, but I admittedly haven't. I've seen some of Tua. He looked like a rookie, right? Like there were some ups, there were some downs. He looked like a rookie. So I was reading about like why it seems like, I don't even know if it's pressure to upgrade, right? Because if you're saying we're considering all our options, that's fine. Like if you see a guy you love and he plays quarterback, like, and if you're not sold on Tua, then get a guy you sold on, right? But I read an article, and I'm gonna read from this article. We're doing a little deep diving. We hadn't deep dove in a while, so we're doing a wee bit of deep diving. This article said, and I quote, "It's important to note the factors that affected Tagovailoa's performance. Miami's offensive weapons were limited because of injuries, opt-outs, and lack of speed. The Dolphins' top 3 pass catchers, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and Preston Williams, ranked among the NFL's 10 worst at getting separation and 20 worst in tight window throw percentage among receiving options with at least 10 catches. This means Tua rarely had easy throws when targeting his options. He is also 14 months removed from a career-threatening hip injury, with rehab dominating nearly all of his 2020 offseason. Plus, Tagovailoa and Chan Gailey, who's the Dolphins' offensive coordinator, didn't always seem like a good pairing. Gailey's offense seemed more aggressive, effective, and a better fit for Fitzpatrick. There will need to be more trust in catering to Tagovailoa's strengths to get a better evaluation." End quote. And it's like, wow. You mean to tell me that Ryan Fitzpatrick, the guy who's 38 or whatever, he played for Chan Gailey 3 years. Champ Gailey was the head coach in Buffalo for 3 years. Or excuse me, maybe even 4. But Ryan Fitzpatrick played for him for 3 years in Buffalo. He was the offensive coordinator with the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick played 2 years with him there. And now he comes in here. So, wow. You mean to tell me the guy who's had experience with this guy and his system and terminology and all that, you mean to tell me that he looked better than the rookie that came into camp off the terrible hip injury and had his entire training camp over Skype and had no preseason games and didn't start the season? Wow. And had terrible weapons? I say that's interesting. I couldn't believe it. And again, like if you're not sold on him, you're not sold on him. Like you look at, I guess the most recent case is the Cardinals. Drafted Rosen. He had a horrible rookie year. And then got the number 1 pick. They went Kyler. It was the right choice. But it's also, like if you just look at Kyler, I mean a lot of quarterbacks, but look at Kyler from year 1 to year 2. Look at Josh Allen from last year to this year. Look at like Jared Goff's first year. And then his first year without Jeff Fisher. Look at Baker Mayfield. This is his first year without Freddie Kitchens. Or the next year without Freddie Kitchens. And they in the playoffs. So it just seems a little aggressive to me. Right? And I get like Rosen, Dwayne Haskins. If he's not your guy, he's not your guy. Do what you got to do. But I feel like you can't talk. Like if you had Trevor Lawrence, if the Dolphins had the number 1 pick, yeah, it would be Lawrence. You take Lawrence. But are you going to talk yourself into Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or somebody else? Talk yourself into being that guy just because Tua ain't? Because Tua not being that guy don't make them that guy either. You know? So, I don't know. It feels tough to like read that about his pass catchers and then say that they shouldn't just go get Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase or some offensive line help, something like that. And like Tua hasn't looked downfield enough as a rookie. I think that's fair. I wouldn't be worried long term unless he had that tendency in college, and he didn't. Right? Like in college, I feel like they were saying he was too aggressive. They were like, all those throws won't be there in the league. You know? So I'd be worried about it, but I also wouldn't have drafted him top 5 if I was worried about that. And I also need to know like who on the Dolphins coaching staff or scouting, whatever, is evaluating the quarterbacks this year that didn't evaluate him last year. Because if it's the same guy like that was like, yeah, no, take Tua. We're tanking for Tua. And he's like, yeah, no, it's definitely Zach Wilson. I don't know if I can trust your word, man. So he went downfield in college, didn't last year. The thing that translated, he didn't throw a lot of picks, and he didn't throw a lot of picks in college, especially for somebody who made some of the like aggressive downfield throws that he did. So like not turn the ball over or not throwing picks is just kind of something that he does. That feels like it translates. So I don't know. Can we wait and see like if anything else translates? You know? And again, with the Rosen-Kyler situation, it is a little different because Tua was better than Rosen was. Lawrence is a better prospect than Kyler was. And the Dolphins also don't have the number 1 pick to take Trevor Lawrence. Right? The 3rd pick ain't the number 1 pick. This is the kind of hard-hitting analysis that I know you're here for. So I feel like a quarterback is going number 2. I don't even know who has the pick, but I feel like somebody will trade up to get it if it's not the team that has it now. So if Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or somebody else, another quarterback goes number 2, and the offensive tackle buddy from Oregon, Sewell, who's supposed to be like just this elite offensive line prospect, if he fall, I think I'd want him there regardless. Like I just can't get with talking myself into a quarterback I'm not sure on. Right? I feel like that's how you end up with taking Daniel Jones with like the 6th pick. That's how you end up with Sam Darnold, the 3rd pick. And those guys, I feel like those guys got they were just rookies. You know, let's see them with another year under their belt. Because the Dolphins, they think they're ready to contend now. They won 9 or 10 games, but I mean, you really think you're ready to win a championship now? Like, you think that's the difference? And if you do think you're ready to win a championship now, you think a rookie, like you think Zach Wilson or Justin Fields is going to be the one to carry you to it? I don't know what you could even get if you traded for Tua. So I would keep Tua. I would go either tackle. Honestly, if I kept 3, I would trade down probably no matter what. I think I would just part of the draft manifesto. I think I would just trade down no matter what and take probably the best line prospect or receiver. I'd be thrilled to get Jamar Chase in there. Again, it said the Dolphins had some opt-outs. See what they look like, as a full team next year. See what Tua looks like when he has any kind of like training camp or OTAs, or when he can talk to his quarterback coach in person and not over Zoom. I'd be more inclined to do that than to reset the clock. But what the hell do I know, man? What do I know? The Dolphins have clearly got this all figured out. They didn't make the playoffs this year. Had a good year, but didn't make the playoffs. And now they're a quarterback away. So I do wonder what it would take for the Jaguars. Like if the Jaguars were willing to come off of the first pick, and they won't, and they shouldn't. Like no matter what happens, they're taking Trevor Lawrence, as they should. But if the Dolphins were like, hey, here's Tua, here's the 3rd pick, here's the 20, I think they got 21st. Here's the 21st pick, and maybe even something else. If you're the Jaguar, you got to listen, right? You got to listen, right? If it's like, okay, hey, listen, we liked Tua last year. We just didn't get him. We can get Sewell. We can get a wide receiver with 20 and maybe a future pick next year. And we cooking with gas, man. So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they'll probably draft a quarterback. And I feel like I've seen a lot of it. It's like, hey, quarterbacks don't cost a lot of money. You can do that now. And it's like, this is the best. Like a 5 pick one year and the 3rd pick the next year. Like we're talking about how, like a 1st round pick is gold in the NFL and every asset matters. And like we see, it's mid quarterbacks, right? Dude, Baker Mayfield is in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Nick Foles won a championship. Blake Bortles was in the Final Four. Joe Flacco has a championship. So again, even if you think Tua is maybe mid, he's gonna be cheap. You can be cheap and mid. You just can't be expensive and mid. That's when you turn into Andy Dalton or Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, somebody like that. You just can't be expensive and mid. So I don't know. I'm still in on Tua. We'll see. Playoffs. Of course, I got predictions for some games I haven't watched. Are you crazy? You gotta be new if you think I ain't got some predictions. Come on, man. First game, Buffalo and Indy. Give me Buffalo, man. Give me Buffalo. I'm going with close personal friend Josh Allen. He had that bad playoff performance last year where he was just laddering the ball like Reggie Bush in the championship. But he's looked much better this year. I do know that. I know he and Stepien Diggs are like thick as thieves, man. There was an article this week from a Bills teammate. I think it was an offensive lineman. And he said it was guys on the team. They were like, they can't believe someone is as good at football as Stepien Diggs is. Like, that's how impressed they were by him. They weren't impressed by how good he was. They were impressed that anyone could be that good at football. That's the kind of I guess, presence he's brought to that team. And the Colts they were better than I thought. They were better than I thought. Rivers was done, and I wasn't that high on Jonathan Taylor. He had a good year, but I don't think they're long for the playoffs. And Carson Wentz, he'll probably love it there. I can see Carson Wentz loving Indianapolis. Next game is the Rams versus the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks there. They were my Super Bowl pick going into this season. I had Seahawks, Chiefs. I'm sticking with that. I have no reason not. Like, they're both in the playoffs. I'll stick with that. And I know they started strong and they started sucking, but apparently it appears that they stopped sucking. And they're playing at home. Russell Wilson, I think I saw, is either 5-0 or 6-0 playing at home in the playoffs. So give me Seattle there. I feel like I kind of should be going for the Rams, though. Like, I really like Aaron Donald. They got a running back they got rid of the high-paid running back to go running back by committee, and they got 3 guys that rush for 2,000 yards combined and make $10.25 an hour combined. So I feel like I should be rooting for them, but no dice. No dice. And also I saw Jared Goff has a bad thumb on his throwing hand. I think he had surgery. and he's going to try to play on that. And even if he was healthy, I would pick the Seahawks. But now that I know that, I am definitely picking the Seahawks. For Bucks, Tampa Bay goes to Washington. Give me the Bucks there. This is really just, the Bucks are a better team. Washington, that division stinks. And I saw that Alex Smith has been hurt, so they're rotating between Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke, who was out of the league for 2 whole years before he signed to the Washington practice squad last month. So that or a man with literally one leg is your option against Tom Brady. So give me Tom Brady there. I saw Mike Evans got hurt last week. I hope he's good to go, but I don't know if it'll really matter. I think Tampa wins that one. Tennessee at Baltimore. Give me Tennessee, man. I'm going Tennessee. And I was ready to pick Baltimore here until I seen somebody's quarterback. I'm not saying any names, but it was somebody's quarterback asking Donald Trump to free Kodak Black. Now I know he's got or had some sexual assault charges. I don't know if these are the charges that he was asking to be freed from. But listen, Lamar, you could have waited a week, bro, and just asked Joe. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna release him either way. So yeah, I don't know. Lamar's had a couple interactions with Trump. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he went to Louisville. So I know I said I wasn't gonna say no names, but I said his name. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. Tough scene to win the MVP last year, start your career 0-3 in the playoffs. If that's what happened. So yeah, give me Tennessee. Saw Derrick Henry rush for 2K, and I think it's wild that he's the only person to ever rush for 2,000 yards at every level. That's insane. That's insane. And it became a thing. It was like Barry Sanders or some of these other guys didn't rush for 2,000 yards in high school. And Barry Sanders, somebody did the legwork. Found the Wichita newspaper where Barry Sanders didn't start till I think halfway through his senior year because his older brother was also a good running back. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think his older brother played a little bit in the NFL. And so Barry Sanders finished his senior year with 1,500 yards, not 2,000. He wasn't a finished product, So, yeah, give me Tennessee. I feel like Derrick Henry's not going to get any MVP buzz. Maybe he shouldn't, but he gets my vote. I wouldn't pay him. Would not pay him. I don't want anything like that to get out there. But I'd probably give him an MVP vote. Next game, Chicago at New Orleans. Give me New Orleans. Trubisky on the road is really all I need to hear. Kamara might have another 6 touchdowns. Might have 7, but the fans been getting real feisty for that one. The Bears fans and Saints fans been at each other's throat over that one. So that'll be a good game for the trash talk. And last game, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I'm going Pittsburgh. This is the first step for Cleveland. Their coach not even going to be there because he tested positive for COVID. I don't know how that's going to work out. I know they said he's out for the game, but if I know anything about how fucking crazy NFL coaches are, he's going to be texting in plays or doing something crazy on the sideline or from home, from the hospital, whatever. And Pittsburgh, I imagine Benny Snell rushes for 350, 400 yards. Bud Dupree plays with a torn ACL and has 4.5, 5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. He's just that kind of beast, man. So those are my playoff predictions. I cannot wait to go a smooth 0-6, baby. Deep dive. Time for deep dive number 1. I was curious. It's something I wrote down a while ago. I kept hearing about the Ted Stepien rule. Y'all familiar with the Ted Stepien rule? The Ted Stepien rule is, I quote from the internet, the NBA thereafter instituted the Stepien rule, which states that a team cannot trade its first-round pick in consecutive years, end quote. That's the Stepien rule, okay? And now they've got pick swaps and protections to work around it. But in the 80s, there was an owner, Ted Stepien. He owned the Cavaliers, and he was so bad, they created a rule for him. So I want to know more about this Ted Stepien because there's a lot of shit GMs, right? There's been a lot of terrible GMs. They never created no rules for him. You know what I'm saying? So if they created a rule for this guy, he must have been awful. Let's see how awful. Okay. He took over the Cavaliers in the spring of 1980. And he owned them until 1982. He was there for 3 years and got a rule named after him. It's called influence. Impact. So his first year, he was known for going through coaches, I learned. His first year, he had 2 coaches. Bill Musselman coached 71 games, got fired. Don Delaney came in, got 11 games. All right. Year 2, Don Delaney's still there. He got 15 games. He got fired. Bob Kloppenberg took over for 3 games. He got fired. Chuck Daly, yes, that Chuck Daly, like Pistons Hall of Fame Dream Team coach Chuck Daly, got 41 games, canned. And then he brought back Billy Musselman. Billy Musselman closed it out with 23 games. This is from an interview in 1980. So the first year he had the team, Ted Stepien said, quote, "No team should be all white and no team should be all black either. That's what bothers me about the NBA. You've got a situation here where blacks represent little more than 5% of the market. Yet most teams are at least 75% black, and the New York Knicks are 100% black. Teams with that kind of makeup can't possibly draw from a suitable cross-section of fans." He also said, blacks don't buy many tickets, and they don't buy many of the products advertised on TV. Let's face it, running an NBA team is like running any other business, and those kind of factors have to be considered. He described his Cavaliers at that time, consisting of 6 whites and 5 blacks, as a balanced team racially, and that's a good reflection on our society, because it's balanced too. He described himself as, quote, really big on desegregation, and for a totally integrated society. These remarks were made at a time when the NBA's popularity hinged on white America's public acceptance of a league filled with black athletes, an issue which plagued the league during the late 70s and early 80s, end quote. So he bought this team, bought the Cavaliers, and of course, new owner, he wants to compete right away. So he is trading first-round pick after first-round pick after first-round pick. Traded a lot of them to the Mavericks because they were expansion franchise, which if you're the Mavericks, it's just good GMing. So I looked up. I was like, okay, how many picks did he trade? In consecutive drafts, these are all consecutive drafts. He traded the 9th pick, or picks that became, I should say, picks that became, because he traded them long before. He didn't have time to wait. Picks that became the 9th pick, the 4th pick, the 1st pick, the 4th pick, the 8th pick, and the 7th pick. Those are consecutive drafts. 6 consecutive drafts. And the one where they had the 1st pick, that was the James Worthy year, or Dominique Wilkins, whoever you want to take one there. They had the 4th pick in the Hakeem, Michael Jordan, Barkley draft, where Barkley went 5. The 8th pick they traded was Detlef Schrempf, who made I think he won 2 Six-Mans of the Year, a couple All-NBA teams. And then the 7th pick after that. That was 6 consecutive years of lottery picks they traded because they were horrible. And because they were still in the lottery, you know that the players they traded the picks for didn't help at all. So it said, quote, "The trading of draft picks became so problematic that NBA Commissioner Larry O'Brien was forced to step in. And in 1981, he froze Cleveland's ability to trade draft picks. Unfortunately for Cavs fans, the league rescinded on this decision at the conclusion of the 81-82 season. The NBA stepped in because there was a real fear around the league that he would trade away all of the Cavs' first-round picks in the 80s and 90s, and this would in turn cause the Cavs to become so unstable that they might disband. Always the cheapskate, Stepien is rumored to have refused to give his players the allotted per diem money required by the NBA. There were also instances where the per diem checks were bounced due to insufficient funds. The per diem checks are what NBA players, even to this day, use to purchase food on road trips. Not getting the money meant big trouble for younger players in an era where even MVP Dave Cowens had to have a summer job. This kept a lot of players from even considering Cleveland. By the end of the 1982 season, Cavs fans had had enough. They booed the team mercilessly and criticized his actions every chance they got. Stepien responded by saying he was moving the team to Toronto, and they would be called the Toronto Towers. The threat was empty, but it did catch the NBA's ear, and in 1983, the league sent its legal counsel, David Stern, who would eventually become the NBA's commissioner from 1984 to 2014, to help facilitate a sale of the franchise. End quote. That's how bad this man was. He bouncing checks for what do you think per diem was in 1982? Like $7? $7 could have got you 3 squares, 3 hots and a damn cot back in 1981, and he bouncing checks willy-nilly. It was so bad they brought in David Stern. You know, David Stern, like, he wasn't the commissioner yet, so he trying to make a name for himself. You know, he probably held Ted Stepien over a balcony, man, by his ankles like Vanilla Ice. It says Stepien balked at the sale initially, but after Gordon Gunn offered enough, he acquiesced and sold the team. The league sweetened the deal for Gunn by giving the Cavs some additional draft picks. That's how bad this man was. That's how bad this man was. Gordon Gunn, who owned the team up until, like, he was the owner when LeBron was drafted. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it went from Gordon Gunn to Dan Gilbert. I'm just not sure what year. But it was so bad for them that in part of the purchase, the money he was giving to buy the Cavaliers, the NBA gave him the rights. Like, okay, listen, you pay a little extra, we'll give you some of them first round picks back. All right. Because again, the picks like 6 straight years of picks. This was like 83, 84, 85, 86, right? And we talking about 1981. So this man was like way down the road. He said, man, I'm not going to own this team in 1988. Who cares? Who cares? He the anti-Sam Presti. So during his tenure as Cavaliers owner, the Cavs went 66 and 180. They had 5 different coaches and had losses of $15 million. $15 million back then over 3 years, which adjusted for inflation, that's got to be $7-8 billion. You know what I'm saying? So that's the fake deep dive on the Ted Stepien rule, just how horrible he was, right? And again, we see horrible GMs now, and the league is never like, hey man, enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough. Stop doing that. So that's how bad this man was. I think they should take it away. I kind of like it. Now, I do think it should be a case where, okay, you can't trade a first round pick further than, I don't know, 5, like whatever you decide. You can't trade the pick in 2030. But if I want to trade my 2021 and 2022 to get a player, I think I should be able to. And again, now they just go pick swaps with it. You know what I'm saying? They just go pick swaps. So they still get around it. I guess nobody figured that out back then. I feel like I didn't hear about pick swaps or like lottery protected picks until like, I don't know, like 6 years ago. So that's what Cavs fans had. So if you know like an OG old Cavs fan, that's tough. And I thought about like what really stinks about that. Like by the late 80s, like the Cavs were good. Like that was like Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, like Craig Elo, Ron Harper, like the ones that was competing with, you know, Jordan in the playoffs. They was losing, but they was competing with Jordan in the playoffs. So you just think about like if their owner didn't literally punt like 6 straight years of lottery picks in like some pretty good drafts, man. He could have had Dominique, could have had Chuck Barkley up in Cleveland, like could have had a number of people, and he traded him. I ain't even bothered to look to see who he traded him for because I know there was some shit. I know it wasn't even worth the look. So that was fake deep dive. And now you know about the Ted Stepien rule. Next thing, this is not even a deep dive. This is just a documentary I watched recently, and I can't believe I hadn't watched it before. When We Were Kings. When We Were Kings, one of the better documentaries I've ever seen. And I cannot believe I hadn't seen it till now. If you're not familiar, it was made in, like the footage is from 1974. I think it was released like in the mid 90s maybe, because like Spike Lee's in it, but he's like giving commentary. He didn't do it. And it is about the Rumble in the Jungle fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman in Zaire, 1974, I think. And I just like my main takeaway. Nobody's that cool anymore. You know what I mean? If you've seen this doc, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, I would 100% recommend it. Like it's about boxing, but it's not a boxing doc. So don't think you have to be like a big Muhammad Ali or George Foreman or even a boxing buff. It's about a lot more than that. So I won't spoil it, but it's a quick watch. Some of the, filmography, I don't even know. Like some of the pictures and videos, like the more really famous ones you've seen probably come from that. And it's so much stuff that I'd never seen before. But nobody's that cool anymore. especially not the celebrities. Like Ali was cool. Foreman was pretty cool. Like James Brown was there to perform. James Brown was pretty cool. Performer. James Brown personal life, not as cool. The Spinners were there, wildly cool. Miriam Makeba, BB King, like all of them and more, so much cooler than any celebrity or regular person now. And I don't know. Like they had Norman Mailer, George Plimpton, a couple old writers, and again, I don't even think they were there writing for the fight. They were just like boxing fans. They're just like, yeah, we just want to see this fight. So they talked about it 20 years later, and just their perspective, even the words they use, I don't know, like people don't talk like that anymore. Writers don't talk that way anymore. I don't know where it went or what happened, but I miss it. It was a better time. I got to go to Africa too. That was another random thought I had too. Like I've always wanted to go to Africa. I don't even know where, but I guess Zaire might be on the list now. But the boy Whiskers needs to go to Africa. You can call it bucket list or whatever. I feel like that's the only one place that I really feel like I need. I feel like I need to set foot in the motherland at least one time. At least one time. And I won't spoil like too much of the stuff that goes on. Ali wins the fight. There, cat's out of the bag. But there's like George Foreman's there, and he's not he doesn't understand why Africa likes Ali more than him. And it's a scene of like Ali just running, jogging through, like I can't even say the neighborhood, the village or whatever. People just running behind him. And he talks to him, and he plays with him, and he throws punches at him, and he hugs the kids. And it cuts back to like George Foreman, who's flying over on the plane with a German Shepherd. And he gets off the plane with this German Shepherd, which was the dog, police dog, duh. But it was the dog that I think the Belgians used when they invaded Zaire, probably not that many years ago at that time. So he's walking around with a German Shepherd. People like backing up off the plane, and George Foreman's like, yeah, I don't know why they don't fuck with the boy, man. I don't get it. I don't know. Another thing I found interesting, which I didn't know, that fight was at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Zaire time. So of course it could be on like at a decent hour in America. But it was at 4 a.m. They had been there for 6 weeks. And it was 80 degrees, man. They was outside fighting in 80-degree weather for 8 rounds. No, thank you. I don't even want to sit outside and watch a fight for 80. Like, you know what I'm saying? 80 sound like a cool day until you just sitting in it, right? It ain't look like it was no breeze out there neither. Just 80 degrees hot. And you just getting punched by George Foreman. I'm good, man. I'm good. And there was some talk in there about the dictator at the time. I can't think of his name. He had a nice hat. I remember that about him. He had an incredible hat. But there was it told a story of like leading up to this, right? He knew that, if they got this fight, this would be a worldwide event. It's Ali and Foreman. These are like the two guys. Foreman had the heavyweight belt. Ali was trying to win it back. And like leading up to it, there was a bunch of crime. There was a bunch of like white people, like journalists and stuff, getting like pulled out of their cars and beat up, robbed, all that. So he had threw people in jail. And at one point, they said it's rumor. I guess they had to say allegedly or rumor, but it sounds pretty feasible. It said he rounded up 1/10 of the prisoners. He built a prison underneath the stadium where they fought, rounded up 1/10 of the prisoners at random and killed them. Killed them at random, right? And they said the point was, like there in Zaire at the time, the criminals had, like connections, like ties. They, you don't mess with them while they're in jail. They do their stint and get out because they were heavily connected. And his point was, listen, I'm pulling random names. Any single one of you niggas can get it. Let that be a lesson to you. And it said after that, they ain't had like no crime. It was fine. They ain't had no, wasn't nobody getting pulled out their car. Wasn't nobody getting car set up on bricks, nothing like that. And I said, goddamn. But again, he had a really nice hat. Incredible hat. So would definitely recommend When We Were Kings. I think it's on Hulu. I think I watched it on Stars as well, but I think it's also on Hulu. Again, quick watch. Don't have to be a boxing fan. Would absolutely recommend. First question / fake deep dive. This was from a while ago from 300 Mac. And question was, what are your 5 favorite commercials of all time? And maybe a deep dive on the Negro Leagues. So the 5 favorite commercials. And I'm going to post links to each of these. Because it really was a joy just looking up a lot of these old commercials and just laughing at them. So my 5 favorite commercials of all time, in no order. The Progressive one that's going on now, the turning into your parents. I love those commercials. Love them. Where he's teaching them how to not turn to their parents. They walk into the store and the woman's on speakerphone. And she's like, I'm having a big lunch and just a snack for dinner. Now we're using a speakerphone in the store. Is that a good idea? And then the guy walks in. He's like, we all see it. We all see it. That man has blue hair. Blue. So that's a current one that instant classic. Like crack of the bat. Crack of the bat. I knew that was one as soon as I saw it. This is Sports Center. This is Sports Center used to have such good commercials, man. But my favorite one is the one. It's Stuart Scott, R.I.P., talking to Evander Holyfield. And he said, Evander, Charlie Steiner said you're the 50th best heavyweight. He said, in the world? In the state of Georgia. And he like crushes the cup in his hand. And he like busts through the door. And he's like, where you at, Charlie? Come out and get your whooping, Steiner. Come on, Charlie. And it cuts to Charlie Steiner. He's just hiding under his desk. And it's just, this is Sports Center. That's always been a personal favorite. Terry Tate, the Office linebacker. The Super Bowl one I think was my favorite. Because that's like, I feel like a couple, the early on ones, he would hit 1 or 2 people in the Super Bowl when he was fucking people up, man. He go like, that's a long distance call, Doug. And he was like cracking heads for real. So that's a personal favorite. The Kobe system. Kobe has some great commercials, man. The Kobe systems, it got to be the one with Kanye. Neither of those guys are no longer here. But where Kanye was asking Kobe, like, how can he be great? And he's like, more. How many records can my records break? More records. But I'm the best. But are you a different animal in the same beast? What the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? You're welcome. And everybody just starts clapping. That's a great one. But, okay, I'll say this is the only one that's ranked. This is my favorite commercial of all time. So much so that after I watched this commercial several times, I watched the making of it, which was like 20 minutes. I might post that too, because that was dope too. This was 2019. Yeah, 2 years ago now. That'll take some getting used to. The NFL 100-year game. That's my favorite commercial, I think, of all time. And if you're not familiar, they're doing like this. The NFL 100 year, they cut to like a dinner, like Roger Goodell's at the podium, and it's got like basically all these NFL legends out in the crowd. Like Aaron Donald is sitting by like Mean Joe Green. It's got like Ed Reed, Barry Sanders, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, like current, like it's some current players like Odell's there, Baker's there, but like LaDainian Tomlinson, anybody who was like a legend is there. And it starts, there's a big cake, and Marshawn Lynch is just eyeballing the cake in a way that like only Marshawn could do. There's one person in the world that could have played this role for that commercial, and it was Marshawn Lynch, and he killed it. So he's reaching for a bit of the cake. There's a football at the top. It falls off the cake. And Goodell's like, oh no. And Mike Singletary takes off his glasses, and they're like, fumble. So everybody's getting the ball. They're throwing the ball around. Barry Sanders is there. Of course, while he's running, he doesn't get touched, right? I mean, that's just, you know what I'm saying, par for the course for the GOAT. But, like, Baker Mayfield sitting there next to Tom Brady. That didn't age well. I don't know why Baker's there. But, yeah, he's like, get out there, old man. And Brady's like, here, hold these. And he takes off, like, all, I guess he had 5 then. But he takes off 5 or 6 of the championship rings. Like, here, hold these. And, like, Ed Reed fucks up LaDainian Tomlinson. Franco Harris is there. It's just a great commercial. And watching the making of it, it was so great because they were like, it was like, it wasn't even a commercial, man. Like, anytime they were in between cuts, it would just be Aaron Donald and like every other defender around Mean Joe Green, just like talking to him, getting stories. Guys just around Jim Brown getting stories. Old teammates, old rivals just playing together. So I think that's my favorite commercial of all time. I think that's my favorite. So again, I'll post all these, but I had to throw an honorable mention in there. This is just an old one. It's funny to me just because it used to be like an inside joke between me and friends in high school. If you remember, it's some lending company. And he's like, I'm Stanley Johnson. Like my car, it's new. I've got a membership at the local country club. I bought a new house. How do I do it? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. And that, I don't know, we just used to randomly say that to each other. Just over random, like got a new pair of Jordans. How did I do it? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. So that's just a personal honorable mention. But good question, 3Mac. Enjoy doing the research on that one. And the second half of his question was maybe a deep dive on the Negro Leagues. I'll say this, the Negro League, like in all seriousness, it's way too complex. It's way too interesting to do a deep dive. I picked one person I don't know if a lot of people would know about, but you can't go wrong. Like I would go to Kansas City and it's on the list. That's also on the list. I would go to Kansas City just to see the Negro League Museum. I'm going there. So I'm picking Rube Foster. Okay, Rube Foster, and this is why I picked him. I knew of him. Didn't know how he got his nickname. He got his nickname because in an exhibition game, he defeated a white pitcher for the Athletics named Rube Waddell. And like Rube Waddle, I looked at Rube Waddle's page. Like he had a pitching triple crown. He was wins leader once, 2-time ERA leader, 6-time strikeout leader. Like he's a Hall of Famer. And Rube Foster, this like barnstorming Negro League player, beat him and just took his nickname. It was just like, I'm Rube now. I think that is so baller. They ain't call him Rube as a kid. It wasn't like, who's the real Rube? He was just like, yeah, I like that. Let me hold that nickname. I'll take that. And he was just known as Rube from then on. Like, playing for nicknames needs to absolutely come back. Like, somebody, you got a good nickname? Yeah, okay, let's play you for it. We'll see. You really, we'll see who's king. Like, if James Wiseman just dominate LeBron, he King James now. LeBron can't ever call himself King James again. But then I got into a fake deep dive on Rube Waddle. So this is just, and I will get back to Rube Foster, but this is just about Rube Waddle, the white pitcher he beat. Waddle's career wound through a number of teams. He was notably unpredictable. Early in his career, he would often leave in the middle of the game to go fishing. He also had a long-standing fascination with fire trucks and had run off the field to chase after them during games on multiple occasions. He would disappear for months at a time during the offseason, and it was not known where he went until it was discovered that he was wrestling alligators in a circus. He was easily distracted by opposing fans who held up puppies, which caused him to run over and play with them, and shiny objects, which seemed to put him in a trance. An alcoholic for much of his short life, Waddle reportedly spent his entire first signing bonus on a drinking binge, with Sporting News calling him a southpaw. That's like southpaw, if you're not familiar, is a left-handed pitcher, and they called him a southpaw because he was an alcoholic. Hilarious. His eccentric behavior led to constant battles with his managers and scuffles with bad-tempered teammates. End quote. And I was like, that's wild. And I looked up more about him. He died when he was like 35, and it really sounds like not even kidding, he definitely had like some mental handicaps, which makes it even wilder that he was just a fucking aces pitcher. Again, 6-time strikeout leader, 2-time ERA, Triple Crown, Hall of Famer. But yeah, Rube Foster was like, I like that nickname, boy. I'll take it. And he took it. So, back to Rube Foster. Like, Rube Foster played for a while, was like a great pitcher in the Negro Leagues, hit 400 in the Negro Leagues. He was allegedly I feel like they say allegedly because it was probably true back then, but they didn't want to give black people credit. He was allegedly hired by Hall of Fame manager John McGraw, who I think to this day is still the second or third all-time leader in managing wins. But he was hired by John McGraw to teach Christy Mathewson, also a Hall of Fame pitcher, how to throw the screwball. He was like, Rube, Mathewson just can't get it down. And Rube Foster was like, here, like, give the boy a couple days with me. And taught him how to throw the screwball. And Christy Mathewson went on to a Hall of Fame career. Like, he was, again, elite pitcher, elite hitter. And he went into the business side after he was a little bit older. Like, he was in Chicago, had a team in Chicago, and he worked with the Comiskey family. Like, yes, those Comiskies, to take over their old field after they moved into Comiskey Park. He saw like a lot of people had ideas for Negro leagues, right? Like, they had been playing baseball, black people weren't allowed. So the idea had been, thrown around. But the biggest obstacle, of course, was like the stadium, right? You have to get a stadium. You have to be in there when somebody else is not playing. You have to pay for it and all that. So Rube Foster worked it out. Like, okay, y'all moving to Comiskey Park. Let me get that old field up off you. So he worked that out. And that was really like the spark of his business mind. And this quote says, Foster began managing in 1907 when he guided the Chicago Leland Giants to a 110-10 record. Again, 110 wins, 10 losses. Their record was 64-21-1 in 1908. In 1909, Foster challenged the Chicago Cubs to a series, which the Cubs won in 3 close games. Foster pitched the second game, took a 5-2 lead into the 9th inning, but lost 6-5. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown, that Hall of Famer, the one with 3 fingers, won the first and third contest. He made the same challenge in 1910 the next year. There's no record of any major league club coming forth to answer Foster's challenge in 1910 when his team went 123-6. 123 wins to 6 losses. So I looked up the 1909 Cubs. Right? I was like, wasn't the old Cubs good? Didn't the Cubs used to be good? The 1909 Cubs were 104-49 and lost in the NL pennant. Like, they were that deal. They won the NL pennant the next year. Like, that's how good the Cubs were. And yeah, they just played a random Negro League team because he challenged them and swept them, but a close sweep, right? Like, that, to me, that says something. Like, one of your best teams, you're contending for NL, 104 wins, played this random Negro League team. I mean, I guess I can't say random, but one of their best, and kept it close for 3 games. Like, they didn't get blown out of the park. And I think that just goes to show the level of talent that was in the Negro Leagues at that time. And again, people had tried the Negro Leagues before. The market was there, of course, because black people played baseball and black people liked to watch baseball. But they failed because they didn't have stadiums, like consensus teams, schedules, all that. And Rube Foster came in, you know what I'm saying, and helped with a lot of that. Like, his whole thing, from what I gathered, was basically, like, he was like, baseball is going to be integrated at some point, right? Like, they're not going to keep us out forever. That's just... Like, even if it don't happen in my lifetime, he was like, it's going to happen at some point, right? We're going to be on the right side of history here. So when it was, his plan was when they were ready to integrate, he wanted his own league. So you have a whole, a league full of teams with elite talent, because he didn't want it to be, okay, the major leagues comes and takes a Jackie Robinson or a Satchel Paige. Like, he didn't want them to take one player. He knew that that's how it would start. You take the best players. But at some point, he was like, well, they're going to want a whole team. When they want a whole team, when they're just like, okay, we just want to take the Chicago Leland Giants or whoever, we'll be ready for that. We'll be ready for that. And it didn't quite work out that way. They were very content on just taking the players for for many years. And if you look, again, I would encourage, like, if you're interested in this at all, I would encourage you to look into the Negro League. Again, just pick almost any player, man. Like the Josh Gibsons, Cool Papa Bell, Satchel Paige, people know about. And they're interesting and worth reading about. But just about any player, any figure, is just worth reading about to me. That's something I'm interested in. And of course, yeah, it didn't work out that way. And he died. He didn't get to see it. I think he died in the 30s. Like a few years before, he was staying at a hotel. They had a gas leak where he almost died. And they were like, he was never mentally or physically the same. He just died a couple of years later. I was like, damn, I get that was just 30s, man. That's just how shit went. You stay in a hotel and the gas leaks and you're never the same. Like, what can you do? But that's Rube Foster. If you look him up, he kind of looked like a Rick Ross type gentleman. He's a burly boy, but again would pitch like both sides of a doubleheader, hit 400, and then go do business on the side. So salute to a real nigga, Rube Foster. Thank you for that question, 3Mac. Enjoy doing the research for that one. Would encourage anybody listening to do the research on that and some of your favorite commercials, man. It's really some gems that you loved and forgotten about and haven't seen in a while. It's worth it. So would recommend. Next deep dive question, a while ago, is from Bert Ferkins, that dirty dog. Says, Trilly, can you go back and redraft the first 10 picks in whatever your favorite draft of all time is? Maybe a deep dive, not sure though. Thanks, my dude. I got you, Ferk. I thought about going back, like, man, how would a whole career play out? You know what I'm saying? If I just redid, the 84 draft with Jordan or 96 with Kobe, AI, Ray Allen, Steve Nash, those guys. But ultimately, I picked the 2018 draft. That's Ayton, Bagley, Luka. Those are the top 3 picks. So I redrafted those top 10 picks, and I like what I see. Y'all let me know what you think. So the first pick, Phoenix Suns. In real life, they took DeAndre Ayton. In the redraft, they take Luka, of course. Luka goes number 1. So it's just Luka and Booker. Like trouble. It's trouble off the bat. Luka and Booker. And again, I think if they make that pick, they still definitely have enough left to trade for Porzingis. I feel like they'd just be doing what they're doing in Dallas, in Phoenix. And also with Devin Booker. So imagine a Luka Booker backcourt. They trade for Porzingis. Add a Michael Bridges in a little bit later or whatever. But that's pick number 1. Pick number 2, Sacramento Kings. I go with the pick I thought they should have made at the time. I'm fine with them taking a big. I just didn't. Bagley was not someone I was that high on. I'm giving them Triple J. I'm giving them Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, he gives them defense, interior defense that they don't have. He gives them another 3-point threat that they don't have. And Bagley, like a fine prospect, but he doesn't really give them either of those things. So I got the Kings with Jaren Jackson Jr. Third pick is Atlanta. They took Luka, as you may recall, in the real draft. This time, I got them just taking Trey, man. The system still works. That Reddish pick is still in Dallas. Maybe none of this ever happens, but I do think Atlanta would probably still go Trey there at 3. 4 was Memphis. They picked Triple J in real life. In this draft, I've got them getting Michael Porter Jr. He was in that draft as well. Like, they don't get Ja for another year. But if you consider Porter Jr. didn't play his first year, so maybe they probably still stink and still get the number 2 pick. And listen, I love Triple J and Ja. Like, they're going to be trouble. They get healthy and stay healthy. But boy, oh boy, if Memphis had Michael Porter Jr. and Ja Morant, like, those are your 2 guys, holy smokes. Like, you starting something special there. So Michael Porter Jr. 4. 5 is Dallas. Again, they picked they picked Trey, but it turned into Luka. Here I got him getting DeAndre Ayton. Went 1. He falls to 5 here. Like, again, this is Dirk's second to last year. And they had also just taken Dennis Smith Jr., so they didn't know he stunk yet. You know what I'm saying? So Dirk's going into his twilight. Dennis Smith Jr. and DeAndre Ayton. Not a bad core in Dallas. 6, Orlando. They took Mo Bamba in real life. This time around, I'm giving him my baby boy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think that's the right pick. Like, at the time, they had Vucevic, they had Aaron Gordon, they had Evan Fournier, and no real guard play. Right? So just slide Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in there, and Orlando's cooking with grease. 7 pick, Chicago Bulls. They took Wendell Carter Jr., close personal friend. They took Laurie the year before, so I still think they go with a big. But I'm giving him Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson was in that draft, slipped to the second round. But we're doing the redraft. Give me Mitchell Robinson. Right, so you got Mitchell Robinson's doing your defending and your rim running. Laurie's doing your shooting. Still a solid combo. 8, the Cavaliers. This is the pick from the Kyrie trade, if you remember. They went with Colin Sexton originally. I'll give him Marvin Bagley here. Now, through 2 or 3 or whatever it's been, Sexton's been a better player. Like, not debating that. But I still, like Bagley, I think he's probably got the higher upside. I think they roll those dice there. I think they do. I think those are the dice they roll. 9, the New York Knicks. They take Kevin Knox again. It was the right choice then. And no, they don't take Kevin Knox. This one's tough. Because, again, there's still quite a few solid prospects left. I'm going to give them Sexton. They went Dennis Smith Jr., or excuse me, not Dennis Smith Jr., they went Knox. Excuse me, Dennis Smith Jr. was the year before. I thought about, well, I won't say who I thought about because he's coming up. But, yeah, you give him Sexton. Like Sexton, I feel like they would love him in New York, man. He would just go there and get buckets, and they would stink, but he would get buckets, and they would love it. Put the Sex Man and MSG. That's the 9th pick. 10th pick. I'm thinking about changing it right now. I'm not going to do it. 10th pick, Philadelphia 76ers. They took Mikal Bridges and then traded him. There are 2 choices here. Is either take Mikal Bridges again and just keep him. He would have been perfect there. But let's have a little fun. I gave him Kevin Huerter, another close personal friend. Again, this is the year after Fultz. So they didn't know Fultz wasn't going to work there yet. They still had Robert Covington. They still had Sark, still had Redick, T.J. McConnell. So you add in Huerter. Like, he's a little shooting next to Simmons and Embiid. And you in the mix, man. You still got enough to trade for Jimmy Butler and not Tobias Harris. Things could be great. And the guys still on the board. That's the top 10. Still on the board, we've got Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges, Wendell Carter Jr., Devontae Graham, Jalen Brunson, Landry Shamet, Shake Milton, Svi Mikhailic, Aaron Holiday, Gary Trent Jr., Dante DiVincenzo, Mo Bamba, DeAnthony Melton, Bruce Brown. Like that's the rest of your first round right there. Like, that's an incredibly stacked draft with solid talent. Like, I don't know where Gary Trent. I thought about Gary Trent at like 9 or 10. Like, he's been that kind of player in Portland, and he was 35th, 45th pick, something like that. So, really good draft. And I picked that one in part because, like, we can still kind of fake see how that one plays out now. Like, I can't stop thinking about Luka, Booker, and then them getting Porzingis, De'Aaron, and Triple J. Atlanta still gets Trey, so we all win there. But, like, Shea and Orlando, man, like, I love Fultz, but, like, Shea is better, and Philly would still have Fultz. So, I look forward to lots of teams still messing up. Like, Gary Trent Jr. would still somehow go 58th. But, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that one. Thank you, Firkins. You dirty dog. Next thing, not even a question or a deep dive, but just some somewhat breaking news. I guess, I don't know. But apparently Deshaun Watson is unhappy in Houston, to which I say, finally. Thank you. Finally, Deshaun. I knew I always liked this kid for some reason. He's got a good head on his shoulders. But apparently, he's unhappy because the owner told him that he would be involved in the general manager and the coach hiring process, right? Not that he would get to choose it, but that he would be involved. He would have some input. He would have some say. Like, he's the face of the franchise, star quarterback, just signed him to a new deal. I'm guessing that's something they offered him, right? Like, I don't think I demand to have input that won't be valued at all. I imagine that's just something that they offered to him. Only problem is they just hired a GM and apparently didn't consult him at all. So now it's word that he may or may not ask for a trade. I pray that he does. I didn't want him to sign that extension until he got out of there, but Listen, they put 160 million over 4 years in your face. I get it. I get it, dog. Really, I do. But the thing is, that contract hasn't kicked in yet. Right? That contract hasn't kicked in yet. So he's got 4 for 160. But next year alone, he's making 10 million. So if you trade for him right now, you're really getting the next 5 years of Deshaun Watson, who's 24 years old right now. I know he feels older because like the Bama thing twice feels like 100 years ago. He was in college for a long time, it feels like, but he's 24 years old and coming off a great year. So if you get him, you got him for 5 years, 170 million, average of 34 million per year. Just for reference, just for poops and giggles. I looked at some of the biggest cap hits for next season. We got Big Ben Roethlisberger at 41 million. Matt Ryan at 40 million. Carson Wentz and Jared Goff at 34 million. And Kirk Cousins at 31 million. Just for reference. And again, if you trade for Deshaun, you're getting him at an average of 34 million per. So I say that to say, I don't think you can trade too much for him. If he is legitimately like out the door, and I hope he is, they hired a GM, I think, from the Patriots. So you know he gonna think he Bill Belichick, like nobody's bigger than the team. We can make anybody a star quarterback. Sure, go for it. So if you are basically a team that is not the Chiefs, you should probably at least be kicking the tires. Like this year, he led the league in passing yards. He led the league in yards per attempt, but he also completed 70% of his passes, which is incredible. Like normally you complete 70% of your passes, you like checking down like Alex Smith. Not him, or you throwing a lot of picks. He had a career low interception percentage, and he was going downfield and completing a lot of his passes. Like he's a star or as close to superstar as you want. He got a playoff win under his belt. He's not like that Lamar Jackson fellow. So I really don't think you can overpay for him. Like when you look at last year, he didn't have a 700-yard rusher. He had a 1,000-yard receiver, but it was a 1,000-yard receiver who he's been traded so much, he just recently refused to keep getting traded. Like Brandon Cooks has been traded, 3 or 4 times, and just recently he was like, man, I'm not getting traded no more. I ain't going for that. So that was his top weapon, so that's awesome. His offensive line was decent. I looked up like their pass block win rate, run block win rate. They were 10th in the league in pass block win rate, 11th in run block win rate. So like a top 10 line, right? And you see what he can do with a top 10 line. He can lead the league in passing and complete 70% of his passes while going downfield. And that's what he does with a solid line and like 0 offensive weapons. They also had a 30th ranked defense. So there's that. That's why they stunk. But if you're any team that you think you're a contender now, like I was talking about Tua earlier, like if you think you're a contender now, Dolphins, like Zach Wilson ain't your answer. Deshaun Watson's your answer. Like what if they traded, Tua, that number 3 pick, that number 20 pick, like their own pick this year. Next year, I give you a first and probably a second. Like, again, I really don't think you can overpay. Let Houston just restart with a couple firsts, couple seconds, build their draft capital back up. Tua's their young quarterback. Let them build with that. And the Dolphins just turn basically all the guys they traded into Deshaun. They turned Minkah Fitzpatrick and Laramie Tunsil and a pick of their own into Deshaun Watson. And he's already signed for the next 5 years. That feel like even Stepien to me on both sides. But like Washington had a really good defense. Like their defense won them the division because their offense stunk. But they've got weapons. Like Antonio Gibson, he's solid. Terry McLaurin, he's fire. Like they got some weapons, man. So I don't know what it would take. Again, Laramie Tunsil, Jalen Ramsey, Jamal Adams went for 2 firsts. If I'm Houston, and I'm not Houston because I would make good decisions if I was running a football team, so I could never beat the Texans. But we're not talking for no less than 5. I need at least 5 first-round picks. I need 5 of them things. Because, again, he's better than Tunsil, Fitzpatrick, or Jamal Adams, like at their respective position. He also plays the most premium position. He's ready to win now. He like tore his ACL the first year, but since then he's been like pretty durable. So like not really gonna have to worry about that. So Washington, San Francisco, Denver, Carolina, Chicago, Atlanta. Like again, if you're not a Patrick Mahomes quarterback team, you should be kicking the tires. And even if you are, I heard somebody say to me, what if the Chiefs just do trade for him? That's just one less guy they got to compete with, man. That's light years. That's the type of GM and I like. That's what I like to hear. Like the Colts going to pay Phillip Rivers' old ass $25 million next year. Again, for an average of 34. You can get Deshaun Watson for the next 5. The next 5 years, Phillip Rivers is going to be 147 years old. Right? And the Colts got a young, like line, run game, defense, all that. Same division, like they're ready to contend now. So, like Dolphins, if you think you about it, now Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, that ain't your answer. Deshaun Watson's your answer. And any football, like I ain't worried about cap hit. I ain't worried about he means so much. Whatever, dude. They'll trade who and whatever. If you're making the right offer. So if I was a team and they asked for 5 firsts. Well, I mean, where do we sign? It's going to be 5 first for Deshaun? Yeah, I'll do that. My only thing, I don't know how the NFL rules work. I don't know if they got a Stepien rule, and they should because NFL GM's been terrible. But if I could give you 5 first-round picks, like over the next 10 years, like one every other year, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd do it in a heartbeat. And the year that I do have my first-round pick, I'd try to keep trading down until I got like a first-round pick the next year. So if you tell me I could do that or I don't know, like 4 first, 4 seconds, something like that to get Deshaun Watson and we in and ready to go right now, man, say the word. Say the word because I'd be in there in a heartbeat. So I'm hoping Deshaun get out of there to a competent organization because the Texans do not deserve him. Next, as we've done the last couple shows, I'm handing the mic over to a couple close personal friends. We got Dan and SOP from the Morse Code Podcast. Shout out to them. They have got their 10 minutes here. SOP is going to tell a story. I haven't even listened to it yet myself. So I'll have to comb through it and pick out all the foul language. You know how he get. But the next voices you will be hearing will be Dan and SOP from the Morse Code Podcast. And we'll check back in after that.
All right, I'm Dan Morse here with the Cambodian Prince, Sophie Priep. We are the Morse Code Podcast. Big shout out and thank you to Tyler for letting us hop on this latest edition of the Fun Report. I'm going to keep it simple. The goal today, Sophie is going to share a story, a very true story, swear to God, very true story from his adult life. And I'm simply asking the close personal friends here to simply listen, maybe provide some feedback, and most importantly, make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else, including Soapy, ever again. And also, one more thing. So maybe more importantly, I want to make sure I'm not crazy for thinking that this is an incredibly insane and dangerous way to live life. Because we've reminisced on this story before. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, again, this is a very true story. I will pass it over to Soapy Priep to explain. Looking forward to hearing everyone's feedback. Sophie, go ahead.
All right. So really quick, I do want to say that the one time that I told this story on our podcast, I had to protect myself because you'll see why I had to protect myself. I had to say that it was a associate of mine who's my mechanic. The story, ironically enough, if you guys were listening to the fireside chat last night, I asked Tyler about somehow the CPF started talking about like barbershops for an hour. So this is perfect. Basically, it was, I want to say 2013 or something like that.
So you were a grown adult.
Yeah. At that time, I was
like mid-20s.
Well into my mid-20s. And I had been living in the town that I'm living in now, but I had just moved here. Or, I was relatively new to the place. And everyone knows it's tough to find a good barber. I think everyone from that conversation knows that. So I had loyalty once I found a guy that I thought was doing like a decent enough job. However, and you actually know who this barber is. So it was not worth the trouble. So getting right into it, I went first to it was an all Dominican barbershop except for him. And he was just like a scary, intimidating looking guy. He was huge. He was on roids. I knew that for a fact. He was built like a linebacker, tatted up, which is fine. But like, if you picture someone like this, like you're going to be scared, especially if you know what I look like. He had been to jail, which is a very important piece of this story. And I think if you remember too, from that barbershop, like people talk about how barbers get into like stupid barbershop arguments, but those guys would get into arguments where it sounded like they were going to fight each other. In front of us. So anyways, I kept going to this guy. I thought he did a good enough job, and I didn't want to like keep going to anyone else. And eventually I followed him to the like next barbershop that he went to. And he and I became friendly enough that a couple times we ate, like we got lunch before my appointment, or if I saw him out, I'd say hi. Or even we might even plan to be like, hey, like I'll probably be downtown like 10 on Friday if you're there, like hit me up or something like that. So anyways, as the relationship grew, he looked to like take advantage of me more and more. So you like back then was the beginning of when you could use the apps to set up an appointment, at least for me. And no matter what I did, I would set up an appointment. He would be, let's say I set it for 2:00. He would show up at 2:30. So I've been waiting there for half an hour, and he'd be like, "Oh, my bad, bro." Like, and then I'd see him holding a plastic bag of food, clearly takeout, and he'd just be like, "Oh, like just give me another 15 minutes, and I'll be good to eat this."
Let me go wash up.
Yeah. Let me get ready by fucking eating my lunch.
Yep.
He never had a license because in the whole time that I knew him, like he had just gotten out of jail. So he had his license taken away. And I think it was for something violence related. I'm not saying
his driver's license or his barber license.
He had his barber license. So he could operate clippers, but not
license to
steering
cut.
wheel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, he never had a license. So he was always asking for a ride. He'd show up late to the appointments. He would ask for rides to like the gym, sometime to his house. Sometimes he'd be like, "Hey, I'll give you a cut for free on Friday if you bring me to my court case Saturday morning." No joke. And I brought him to multiple like court appearances. And I wouldn't just have to bring him there. I'd have to bring him there and fucking wait and then bring him back. And again, this is on I
have to. Correct. Correct.
I use the words have to lightly. I didn't have to, but I felt, number one, peer pressure. Number two, he was intimidating. I was huge. He was probably like 6'2", 250. And also he's the type of guy that like every time I hop on Instagram when I was still friends with him, it would just be him posting workout pictures and looking increasingly bigger and scarier. Terrifying. So there was a specific time where like when I really knew that he was sketchy was he asked me for a ride after the cut. And so like the shop closed at 6, the cut was at 5:30. And he used to do this all the time. He'd be like, "Yo, you want to just like give me a ride home after? Just wait for me to clean up the shop and then we'll head out." As if that was like a favor to me. Like all I have to do first is clean up the shop, sweep up your hair.
He made you clean it?
No.
Oh, all right.
But he made me like sit there and wait. And
okay. But you didn't pay for your haircut.
No, I didn't pay for my haircut in money. I had to give him that ride. And so right before this very sketchy time ended, someone came into the shop with a big duffel bag. And I found out later. So he's like, "I have to bring that home. So wait here. Let me finish cleaning up. And then I do need a ride to the gym, but let me me bring this duffel bag to my house first." So I'm like, all right, so 2 rides.
I got to make a stop real quick.
So
okay. All right.
I found out that the duffel bag, which was definitely full because from the way that he was lifting it, it looked heavy as fuck. Yeah. And it was just full of steroids. And I wasn't surprised, but I was like, damn. Like, God damn.
It's a lot of
and
steroids.
I think I heard during the conversation while I was getting my haircut that I want to say it was like $1,000 worth of steroids, which I know I've never done steroids, contrary to popular belief. So I don't know if that's a lot.
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify. But yeah, anyways, so I was like, all right, after this, I'm done.
Gotcha.
So I started blowing him off more and more. Eventually, he asked me one time, he's like, he calls me and I'm like, oh, fucking Christ. Like every time this guy calls me, it's bad news. It's like a debt collector. And so I pick up the phone and his favor this time, he's like, yo, I'm going to give you, I need a favor, but like to pay you, I will give you like 10 to 12 free haircuts. And I'm like, what the fuck could this be? And it was, he needed money to pay off his cell phone bill. And the sob story that he gave me, and he sounds like a panhandler anytime that he gets into these stories. He was like, I needed to pay off my cell phone bill because if I don't pay off my bill, then I can't renew my barber certificate. And if I can't do that, then obviously I don't have means to make money. So here I am, like again,
hook, line, sinker.
Yeah, the worst of like if you need something, come to me apparently because I just say yes.
Yeah.
So I said yes, and he's like, all right, it's $170, but I need it ASAP. And it cannot be cash or check or whatever. I'm like, all right, so like, how do you want this?
Yeah,
and
this is way before Venmo and everything too.
This was way before Venmo. Yep. And this is on a Sunday night. So his alibi was that he couldn't go to a store or whatever.
Yep.
So he goes, just send me your debit card information and I'll pay it online. And I should have said, well, if you're going to like demand that, then let me go online and pay it for you. Instead, I sent him a picture, the front and the back of my debit card, the fucking security code, all that shit. I sent that to him and he paid his bill and he's like, yeah, you're going to get the next 10 to 12 haircuts for free. First of all, if you think about that, that would take like over a year for someone to pay that debt back. Because unless you're going to the barbershop, like, who goes to the barbershop like 12 times that often?
Yeah. It's about 10 cuts. 20 cuts rather. No, 10 cuts. 10 times like 20.
Yeah. So then I looked later, at my bank statement, and he had said $170. It turned out to be a little more. It was like $200, which the $30 isn't the big difference. It's just like, dude, what the fuck were you using this for? And why wouldn't you just tell me the truth? The story gets worse because after that, I didn't even I think I may have told you that he paid his debt back to me in haircuts. I lied. He didn't. I just felt like an idiot if I said that, if I told you the truth. He never did because I stopped going to him. I never fully got paid out on it. The mistake that I made was the second mistake I made.
Many mistakes were made. Let's be clear.
The second mistake I made was that he got me again. He got me again with a very similar story, and it was over text message. It was a lesser amount, but I think to get him off my back, I said, all right, and I want to say that I said, this is the last time that I'm going to do this favor for you. And then pretty much from there, I got one or two more cuts, but I was just like, I can't do this. I don't care if the next guy gives me a bowl cut. Nothing could be worse than this because I'm glossing over the fact that he's a professional. So he shouldn't be asking a customer for money, much less any favors.
Much less a picture of the front and back of your debit card. So that's a hell of a story. And I'm still flabbergasted hearing that. So again, we're calling on you guys. We're calling on the close personal friends. This has to stop. Let them know that's no way to live your life. And I'm curious about what you guys think about this story in general. So
would you ever do this?
Is that rhetorical or you're asking me personally?
I'm asking you personally.
I would not. So that's it. So again, thank you, Tyler. And can't wait to see what you guys think about this.
Thanks, guys.
Oh boy. That was something. That was something. I got a couple thoughts. One, barbershops where you think the barber's going to argue at any given moment, those are the best barbershops, right? I feel like Sophie said that like it was a bad thing. It was like they was about to argue. It's like if I go into a barbershop, again, we was talking about it in the fireside chat. We was like, what do they even talk about at white barbershops? And they was like, there's not really much arguing. They just kind of talk about things they agree on and their family because they know each other. And I was like, that sounds horrible. So them the best barbershops. Two, I ain't never got no lunch with my barber. I don't like to cross those streams. That's just me. And for that reason, you know how people they see who they can okay, if I can get them to get some lunch with me, I can get them to buy me lunch. If I can get them to buy me lunch, I can get them to give me a ride home. If I can get them to give me a ride home, I can get them to pay my rent. It never stops. It never stops. Also, another thing from the fireside chat. I believe it was Diggy that said we need to have like a barber swap, like barbershop swap, the way they do like wife swap. And at first I thought he was talking about like the patron, the person goes to a different barbershop. But no, even better, the barber swap. Like you take a black barber, put him in a white shop, put him in a Dominican shop, Dominican put him in, like you just swap everybody around, musical chairs. And just follow them around. See how things go. I'd watch that. Would y'all watch that? I would watch that. But another thought I had listening to that story, you got to do something real bad to have your barber license taken away. Like I feel like they usually only give those to felons, like respectfully. So if you do something as a felon and then get your barber's license and then get that taken away, you did something real bad, man. That was like strike 17. And so P was like, this will probably be fine. It's probably all good. And from the sound of it, like you taking him to and from court, you making sure he eat, carrying around his steroids. Like you was his parole officer. That's what I'm hearing. He was checking in with you like a parole officer. Like, if you're not drinking it, you gotta have you piss in this cup. Like, let's not do this. Let's go. You could piss in the cup. We'll go to Subway after this. Like a free haircut, not enough. You needed like a salary and some benefits, because that was more than a barber customer relationship. And see, don't let, like, a lot of people use like size and muscles and steroids and all that to intimidate you. I mean, you just got to evaluate the situation, right? Like, he's big, but he also on parole, right? So you got two options. If he whoop you, he whoop your ass a little bit, he ain't going back to prison for you. You know what I'm saying? Or if he is willing to whoop your ass and go back to prison for it, he's out of your hair. You know what I'm saying? It felt like a real win-win for you. I don't know how strong your chin is, but just something to keep in mind. And the last thing I had was, listen, like the $170, $200 thing. He said he'd give you free cuts. No, I'm in there weekly. If you owe me that, I'm in there. It ain't gonna be no, I normally go once a month or whatever. Nah, I'm in there every Friday. I need an appointment. And if I walk in there and somebody in the chair, they got to get up. You know what I'm saying? Put the hot towel on my beard. Put that razor on me. You know what I'm saying? Spray me with the alcohol that don't really burn that much. We're going to talk about the things I want to talk about. We're going to listen to the songs I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? You could have been in control of that. But So P fumbled. So don't fumble like So P. And now we will jump back to some questions. Our first one. I like our fifth one. Like we're intermingling the questions in between the deep dives, in between the general discourse. But this from Comrade Connor. He says, if you ran for some sort of political office and won, what is the pettiest policy you would enact? This came to me immediately. And I am a firm believer in this. And it is the shopping cart litmus test. I know I've tweeted about this and literally everything in the world before, but I don't know if I've ever read the shopping cart litmus test. The shopping cart, I'm reading from this graphic. It was on the internet, the World Wide Web, if you're familiar. The shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will fine you or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your heart. You must return the shopping cart because it's the right thing to do, because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage, who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with the law and the force that stands behind it. The shopping cart is what determines whether a person is a good or bad member of society. End graphic. I 1000% believe that. So if I ever want political office, like not returning your shopping cart, felony might be a little strong. Misdemeanor might be a little weak though. So I'm thinking, level 1, class 1 felony. Like for all those reasons. And I say this as someone who used to, when I was 15 years old, first job I had was pushing shopping carts in 100-degree weather. Made a man out of me. Made a heat stroker out of me too. That shit was hot. But the thing is like you see people, I've literally seen people like walk farther to push it like in between like the handicap spots, or walk farther to push it out of the way. And it's like, dude, the cart corral was closer to you than that. You took more steps than necessary. Like you went out of your way to not be helpful. Right? And people are like, well, I'll put it up there. They can get it on the way. That's not helpful. Right? And when you're pushing these carts, and again, in my day, Sonny boy, we didn't have that machine. This was manual labor. You didn't stack up 20. If you pushed them by yourself, you pushed as many, 10, 12, whatever you could push. If you had somebody with you, we just found like the most efficient way was, one person push, one person steer. You get 20, 25, one person only push, the other one only steer. So I'm 100% on board with this. If you're a person that returns your shopping cart, thank you for your service. If you are not, go fuck yourself. Okay? And whatever reason you're thinking of about why you don't, keep it. Keep it. Right? Because I've like, again, getting the shopping cart, I would go see, like you see somebody that was like parked in the handicap spot, like trying to take their cart back. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody with, 19 kids in the car or in a wheelchair trying to get from wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? Or some sort of assistance, and they still try to put their cart. Or if they leave their cart by their handicap spot, that's okay. It's not okay for your lazy ass to do it. So that would be my policy, 100%. Next question comes from Pudge. Pudge says, please roast Dan Mullen's comments after the Cotton Bowl. If you're not familiar, Dan Mullen is the head coach of the Florida Gators football team. They got smoked. I think it was like 55-20, like whooped, and it wasn't that close. Whooped real bad in the Cotton Bowl. And Dan Mullen just came out in the post-game press conference and just said a whole lot of nothing. Like just a whole lot of unnecessary things. Like he said, quote, the last game this 2020 team played was 11 days ago. We didn't have to play. I thought our scout team guys played well. And again, this is after losing 50-20. Right? So you shit on the guys that showed up. You shit on your coaches and your staff and your trainers and all that, the guys that showed up. You wouldn't take responsibility for the loss. And this is coming off a year where they lost a game because a player threw a shoe. This is coming off Dan Mullen wanting a full stadium. Full stadium. He wanted the swamp full during the fucking pandemic. So I just, like, I don't know if I can roast anything worse that, like, would sound worse than the shit he said himself. So again, I only hope that these kids and these parents are paying attention to who does and who does not give a fuck about you, right? Or at least who is willing to be quiet enough to pretend that they give a fuck about you. And for all Dan Mullen's troubles, you know what he got? Guess. He got PFF Coach of the Year, and now it's rumors of him being in the mix for NFL coaching jobs. Love it. That's why I didn't want Cliff Kingsbury to succeed. Nothing personal, but once you start taking like non-successful college coaches, it's like, yeah, they can make the leap. They're going to take moderately successful college coaches and make them the fucking president of the organization. So that's what I didn't want. That's what's going to happen. And quite frankly, I don't much care for it. Next question is from that Duff guy, Pat. One-time podium trivia winner. We got trivia in the Discord. It's the fastest trivia I've ever seen in my life. You asked the question, and there's never easy questions. I got one right, and I just went out on top, man. I don't even know who won that game. I got my one right, and was like, I'm out. Going out on top. But Duff Guy Pat says, I still want this tweet from John Boyce to be discussed. How would you best commit pass interference as a defensive 12th man? What's the minimum additional equipment you would need to make a real impact on the game? Baseball bat, a gun, discuss. And the question posed was from John Boyce. It said, if your favorite NFL team was allowed to put you on defense as a 12th man and you could commit unlimited pass interference without penalty, do you think you could actually help more than you hurt? And I feel like the answer is very obviously no. I could not contribute at all. But I still like to discuss it, right? I think I really thought about this. I think the best ways that I could contribute is one, being like a safe distance away and just shouting run or pass, right? Like that's my entire job. As soon as I see it's run, I just run. Like, hey, play action. It's like if I can just cut that millisecond, off to keep the linebacker from turning his head or something like that, I think I could be a little bit helpful. On like the quick out routes, they're trying to pick up some yardage, gain some field position for like a end of the half kick, but they're either out of timeouts or not trying to use a timeout. I think on like quick out routes, I could just stand there and like as they run through my body, like that tape at the end of a race, maybe I can just slow them down like a millisecond, right? Just a millisecond. I feel like I could wait like 5 yards. Like I said, you could commit a pass interference, not holding. Like you're not gonna jam them at the line anyway. But you get 5 yards. After 5 yards, I feel like if I just got down on like my hands and knees, maybe I could just try. Like maybe they would just trip over my body. Like maybe they just trip over my body. Like Tyreek Hill gets a quick release, bam, I'm there like a log. I just make them stumble a little bit. But I think that's really it. That's about it. Like, I don't know if you saw the video of, it's one of DK Metcalf going against a corner, like one-on-one against a corner. He goes to make the catch. At the time he goes to make the catch, the safety comes across the middle and just like pops him. One of them, like Cam Chancellor normally lays somebody out. But again, this is DK Metcalf, like tackling a F-150. The safety goes down. The safety crumples in a heap, and DK Metcalf is unbothered. He's just like, damn, can't believe I missed that catch. Guy's on the ground hollering bloody murder. And he was a professional. Like, he's trained to do that. I'm not. But I do think I could run. He's running the ball. I could do that. I could definitely do that. Next question. This was a bit of a two-parter. First one's from Comrade Feeney. Feeney says, what is Steph doing with his hair this season? Is it a cry for help? Is it a midlife crisis? And second part, Bask says, your official notes app response to the allegations that you're a washed-up tape jockey. I'll take the first part first. Steph's hair, man, he's just having some fun. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about it and realize that, like, I don't know if they've been together consistently, but he's been dating, talking to his wife since they was like 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? He got married before he became like even an all-star, nonetheless like a superstar. He ain't never really had no time to experiment. He just having a little fun. You know what I mean? Like the braids, he done had the twist. He'll cut the goatee. He'll grow it out like Malcolm when he went to Mecca, which I contend was the most dangerous. Like if he ever brings that back, watch out. But he just having some fun, man. It's definitely a midlife crisis. He definitely thinks he's me. So I got it. Like my shit look like Steph right now. Like you take the twist out, and you know what I'm saying. You comb it out, but you ain't got it twisted yet. His mistake. He just got to get the big ass headbands like I do. You know what I'm saying? Steph be out there with no headband and shit look like a boss man from Rick and or Morty. So Steph hit my line. I know a guy. I can get a big ass headband to you and out to Oakland and no problem. We got West Coast distributors. That's no problem. Second part from Bask. This let me just say the allegations that I'm a washed up tape jockey, they're true, right? But I'm not going to apologize for it. I will never apologize for that. This came about when was this, Monday? Whatever day Steph scored 62. Some Warriors fans took it very personally that people were laughing at them for their team not being good like the first 5 games of the season. It was like game 6. In the first 5 games, we were having our fun, myself particularly. It is what it is. But yeah, washed up take jockey. Again, this is one of those things. I think I've talked about this before. Like, people call you names that would hurt their feelings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you washed up take jockey, you're a snowflake, you SJW. Like, you know what I'm saying? These aren't hurtful at all. It would hurt your feelings. But yeah, that'll teach me. Oh boy. Oh man. I'm trying. What else they say? It was mainly 3 folks. And I got told I haven't been relevant since 2013. Again, I don't disagree. I can't dispute that. But I said, you've been sitting on this for 8 years, man. Like, you've been thinking about it for 8. You know what happened 8 years ago? You know how long 8 years is? Carmelo Anthony was a New York Knick, and he won the scoring title 8 years ago. Vince Carter was a Maverick. Dwight Howard was a Laker. And when they sucked, not like Dwight redemption tour Dwight. That was 8 months ago. This is 8 years ago. Eddie Lacy won the Rookie of the Year. Josh Gordon, you remember him? He led the league in receiving that year. And you've been sitting on this for that long? So I just like to imagine he was like checking in like every 6, like because they always follow you, right? They always follow you. He's just checking in every 6 months, like, damn, he's still relevant. I'll check back in August. And anytime this stuff happens, like I enjoy searching like our previous interactions. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what kind of time they on, right? Because again, when it's all just words on the screen, people can be like, trolling. Sometimes people are joking with you. It don't come off that way. So I just like to see our previous interactions, right? Because they was trying to get, again, they try to get personal, but it's a thing like you can't get personal with stuff that hurts your feelings and not mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? So one of these guys, he been following me since 2018, man. How did you not see me slander Steph Curry before? I know I've done it. I know for a fact I've done it. You know what I mean? But one of them, and this was the line. This was the line. And this is where I'm mute. I like to just mute people. Like, it just works for you can keep yelling underwater, and I can keep not knowing you exist, right? This feels like the best of both worlds for both sides. But he said I was going online to play video games and lose to the computer. That's where I drew the line. That's where I drew the line, because that's simply untrue. Everybody knows Eric Dunkley's undefeated, nigga. And I have no place for lying on my timeline. So, yeah, muted. You yell whatever you please. I'll never see it. I'll never see you ever again. And another one, he was asking about my screen. He wanted me to post my screen time. So I'll say that my shit is Trump's tax returns. My shit is Obama's birth certificate. I will never post my screen time. It'll never see the light of day. You can take that to the bank. You can take that to the damn bank. It's also, there's always one more thing I notice with these guys. One more thing I always notice. They're always burner accounts. They was either created like 2021 or recently, if you hadn't been following me for like 3-4 years, like the other one. And they always only follow like Barstool accounts. And they only at like Dave or Big Cat or PFT. Right. And so it's like, listen, they're never going to at you back. Let me at you back. You know what I'm saying? You just going down the directory trying to see who will at you back. They're not going to at you back, man. I'll have a little fun with you. But I can't believe that Warriors, Steph fans, I should say, more specifically. Because there's a few Warriors fans I know, like people from the Bay, been rocking with them for a while, that I like and respect, like good, solid fans. I like them. And then there's these motherfuckers, right? Like, I can't believe a guy with 2 MVPs. He changed the game, so I was told. You know what I'm saying? Is he getting this kind of credit for Game 6 of the regular season? You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, you got to get this in while you can, right? Because they're not you know what I'm saying? They ain't doing nothing in the playoffs. And Steph damn sure ain't doing nothing in the finals. Like, we know that to be true. But have some pride, man. Like, y'all won 3 titles in 5 years. That was the best team I've ever seen. And Game 6 of the regular season, like that's where you hanging the banner. It's a wonder nobody respect. Even Kevin Durant was like, man, I got to get the fuck out of here, dog. And that's the insecurity jumping out. Right? Like, you can be as insecure as you want. I would never tell people don't be insecure. I would just say don't project your insecurity onto others, right? Handle that. Look in the mirror and handle that shit. Project it on you. Don't project it on me. Now, we talked about fan bases. There's another thing we talked about in the fireside chat. After the barbershop talk, we started talking about like fan bases, like good fan bases, bad ones we like, ones we don't like, all that. And I said, like, I like Lakers fans. I like Lakers. Like, the Lakers stunk for a decade, and they never for once quit talking shit. Same as, like I'm fine with, like, Yankees fans, like Celtics fans, anybody, you know what I'm saying? If you got that, like, that history of winning, right? That take time. And these Warriors fans, it hadn't been enough time. I get, like, they're not used to nice things. And they know that they ran off the nicest thing they ever had, right? Like, he got them 2 rings, 2 of their 3 rings. And they ran off the 3rd finals MVP. Like, they sent that man to Memphis. You know what I mean? So, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You got to get your shots in for game 6. Because Steph, he might not be out there for, like, game 9. Like, that wrist or one of them ankles, it might go kaboom at any given moment. And, you know, anytime Steph missed, like, 8 shots in a row, they're like, I'm hearing that he's hurt. I think he might be hurt. So, it's just the insecurity, man. I'd be upset too. Right? If you think you got that Warriors magic and they said it was going to rub off on Andrew Wiggins, it didn't. Or Jordan Poole, not yet. Or Jacob Evans or Damian Jones or Jordan, like, you know what I'm saying? And now the Magic is 33 and going through a midlife crisis and growing his hair out. You know what I'm saying? I probably react too. But again, project on yourself. Don't project onto me. It's one of those things, but you got to take back what you said about Steph. And it's like, nigga, if you think I remember what I said about Steph 4 days ago, you're crazy. If you think I remember what I said for breakfast, you're crazy. But I do remember saying I would trade Steph and build around Michael Mulder. I stand by that. He's the best guard on that team. That's not a hot take. That just is what it is. So after that, like, I was like, do I want to tweet like Steph's every box score? You know what I'm saying? Because just by the numbers, he's going to not score 62 a lot more than he's going to score 62. And if we're going to make regular season games an emphasis, then when he go 4 for 17, you know what I'm saying? I need that same energy. That's why I fuck with the Lakers fan. Lakers fans was winning 20 games, and they was still photoshopping Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the Lakers uniform. Like, those guys would ever go out west. You know what I mean? But then I realized, 1, I'd have to keep up with this Warriors team. And 2, like, if I live tweet his bad games, that means I'd have to watch these live games. And that team is not fun to watch. They're not that good. And I will not subject myself to that. So, I mean, it really feels like a matter of time before Mulder and Wiseman just, you know what I'm saying, get those old fogies out the door. So, and this is unrelated to me being a washed-up tape jockey, but if you watch the Clippers Warriors, whatever night they play, I don't understand how every team doesn't defend the Warriors like that. Like, they just don't have enough scores. Their starting lineup is Wiseman, Draymond, Oubre, Wiggins, Steph. I will legit put 2 people on Steph Curry at all times, 2 people on James Wiseman, just to prevent lobs, not because he's, you know what I'm saying, going to carve people up in the post. Though he is nice. I do like what I've seen from James Wiseman quite a bit. And 1 guy to cherry pick. That's really it. I would give up shots like Draymond, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins. Y'all going to have to score 30 apiece every single night to win. And if y'all do that, hey, I tip my cap to you. Right? I tip my cap to you. But that ain't going to happen. But yeah, that was more of a random week 2 thought. I got some more random week 2 thoughts. The Hawks lost 3 in a row. That was a fun week when the Hawks were good, wasn't that? Wasn't that a good, like, 6 or 7 days? I enjoyed that. That was cool. Next thought, Bradley Beal. I think he's going to retire with the most 50-point plus games in history that nobody cares about. And again, not a knock. I like Bradley Beal. I like Steph Curry. But nobody's above these jokes. You know what I'm saying? Bradley Beal scored 60 points the other day, and it was like, yeah, they still down by 17. It's like, good grief. Holy smokes, man. At least when Harden scored like 50, he had like 17 assists with it. You know what I'm saying? The Clippers, Like the Clippers are winning, but something still ain't clicking for me with the Clippers, right? Like it just seems weird, like how much trouble they have with things they shouldn't have trouble with. Like they beat the Suns the game PG and Booker was going at it, but they blew a 31-point lead. I think they had a 31-point lead. I think it got down to like 3 points. Right now they still won. That's all that matters. But you blew a 30-point lead to the, like, you know what I'm saying? They're still the Suns. They're playing well this season, but they're still very much the Phoenix Suns. And again, the Clippers-Warriors game, like they didn't have shit for Eric Pascal. They played the Spurs. They didn't have shit for Patty Mills. It's just one of those things like I don't know. Something about the Clippers just don't. I don't know if they're like a piece away. Something ain't adding up for me at least. Pacers are looking good though. Pacers are looking good. Oladipo's looking good. Brogdon playing well. Miles Turner blocking shots left and right. And I think it's so wild that apparently the Celtics could have had Miles Turner like in the Gordon Hayward trade, and instead they were like, we'd rather have nothing at all than Miles Turner. We'd rather have that money to sign a big man that's smaller than our small forwards. You see Tristan Thompson in my huddles? He's smaller than like Tatum, Brown, Peyton Pritchard. He like the same size as Stepien. He be holding the clipboard for Stevens, man, compared to some of them guys. That's the big man you got to go against. MB, I don't even know if Jared Allen might give him trouble in a series. And Miles Turner blocking 9 shots in the first quarter, and they was like, no thanks. I like the baseball style series. It was something that I advocated for a while back. Just because during like a regular time, like March 2nd, Portland would play Utah. And March 3rd, Utah would play at Portland. And it's like, why can't we just do those two while y'all in Portland? Let's knock these two out. When we go to Utah, we'll knock those two out. So I like those, the back-to-backs. Feels like if you get the first win, you can rest your ace pitcher, rest your good players for that second game. So I like that. I like the baseball style series. I hope that in some form stays around after we get out of this everything. I'm gesturing vaguely at everything. You can't see it, but I am. I think teams, it feels like the margin of victory. I feel like teams are getting like whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like 30, 40, 50 points whooped. Like that Suns Clippers game. I was like, damn, they up 28 points. I think it was like the third quarter. And they came back, but teams are getting like whooped. And I don't know if it's like, hey, we'll catch them tomorrow. Like it's literally a back-to-back in their town. We'll get them tomorrow. Or what? But, like I said, the player I think I've been most impressed with just individually, and not even like he's not playing MVP ball or even like first team All-NBA ball. I've just been really impressed with Brandon Ingram. Like, again, not even like a huge leap, I guess, like statistically. I just feel like he's just like refining a little bit of his game at a time, right? Like he looks more comfortable with the ball now. He's showing that 3-pointers legit, creating a little bit more for others. I've just been really impressed by the progression of his game. What else we got? Sixers. The 76ers are cooking. I'm watching them play the Nets now. Tyrese Maxey is the best player in the world, which water's wet. You know what I'm saying? But I do wonder, like, how many, just knowing Sixers fans, like the fan base, how many games they need to lose in a row before the Harden talk come back? Is it like 2? Like if they lose 3 games, is it? And again, it won't be a majority of them, but it only take one blogger. It only take one blog post to get them in a tizzy. And the last, like, just random thought I had. Hey, the Raptors in trouble, Jack. Hey, you can bet on everybody like Nurse and Masai and the culture and all that. They can't score. I feel like they're defending all right. They cannot put the ball in the basket. I don't know what's getting better there. Siakam, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's like physical, mental, or what, but like I like Pascal Siakam. I've enjoyed seeing the growth to his game year by year. So I don't know, he just doesn't look right. So I hope he gets that right for him personally. But as a team, boy, they might be in trouble. Next question is from El Broad. El Broad says, which team in the NBA that isn't really seeing any success right now do you think has the best chance to improve greatly and jump into the playoff picture over the next 5 years or so? couple immediately came to mind. And the first one really was Memphis. Like, they've got great jerseys, right? I mean, the talent, John Morant, whatever, but great jerseys. And it's the little things that count. It's the little things. I feel like they nail the jerseys every year. And again, they've got got Triple J. They're, I guess, unofficially tanking, right? Like, the two best players are out, so they'll have this 2021 pick. That should be a solid pick. And also, over the next 5 years, I really do think expansion to the league is coming. Like, had it not been for the pandemic, I feel like that probably pushed things back. I feel like we would have be on pace for one, if not two teams. It's looking like Seattle and Vegas, which would just push Memphis and New Orleans to the east. So I'm betting on them. Like, I think that's the leap they take. If they get to the east, just keep doing what they're doing, get to the east, they're good money. The same for the Pelicans, right? But I'm a little hesitant on that. Like, they're used to doing nothing with all NBA talent. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on the Pelicans. But Stan got them playing a little defense, so we'll see. They got some assets. But honestly, like, after doing 2 weeks ago, last phone report where I did like the fake expansion team, I really think an expansion team could hit the ground running, right? Like, in terms of like within 3 to 5, like within 3 years, be contending for the playoffs. That's what I mean. Like, not win a championship immediately, like hockey, or get to the championship, I should say. But the team, they're gonna be in probably Seattle. I mean, definitely Seattle, and then probably Vegas. Like, I pay Masai Ujiri, but hey man, like, whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want. 5-year contract, whatever you want. Or like Sam Presti, somebody that's good on team building, only this time I'll give him some money to spend. I won't be a broke bitch and let all my players get away because I'm broke. So Seattle could really work. Like, again, they got the jerseys. They're going to have the new arena. It's so much talent that come out of Washington. I think if they get a team soon enough, I could see Durant playing a year there, like before he retires. And Vegas, I mean, like, Vegas is Vegas. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. But yeah, you take some bad contracts for some picks, help get some people under the luxury tax to get some picks, some decent lottery protected picks or protected picks. I think you can hit the ground running relatively smoothly. So Seattle, Vegas, hit my line. My number to say. Next question is from Comrade Feeney. Feeney says, can you say one nice thing about the Orlando Magicians? Just one, please. I'll pay for it, he says. No, they're playing well. I'll say this. They're playing well without getting anything from their recent, like, first round picks. All right, like Cole Anthony shooting like 30% from the field, which I think he did at North Carolina, so consistency. Chumo Kiki's got off to a bit of a slow start, but he didn't play last year. These are like his first NBA experience. Mo Bamba hasn't been playing that often or that well. Like, Michael Carter Williams is still starting games. Somehow, playing like 20 minutes a game. Fultz just got hurt, which really sucks, man. Which really sucks. Like, he was starting to play well. Like, he was hitting his free throws. That's a good thing. He was hitting free throws. And tore his ACL, so he'll be out. I'm really glad he got paid. So I'm really glad he got that check before. But, man, that guy just can't catch a break. So hoping he has a speedy recovery. And Jonathan Isaac's hurt too, so the bright side of that is that we don't have to see him like stand alongside Myers Leonard, when they stand for when they're like the only people to stand for the anthem. Or you don't have to wonder like who's that 7-foot black guy with the high top fade and the King James Bible in each hand, storming the Capitol with his comrades. So there you go, Finn. Hey, keep your chin up, Daddy. Next question is from Kenny G. Kenny G says, if you won the jackpot for $50 million, what are the first 3 things you would do? These are in no particular order. 1, retire my parents. That's just always been something I wanted to do. Just be able to just like walk in their job and just say, we quit. And like, no, leave your stuff. You're not going to need like those sticky notes ever again. 2, I would leave this goddamn country forever. I'd leave all my stuff and just, I don't even know where I go. It don't matter. I got 50 million. I'm leaving this country forever. And the third thing, I'm gaining a whole bunch of weight, Kenny G. I'm talking like 100 pounds, 150 pounds. No problem. No problem. Just eating good, drinking good. Just generally not caring. So, I mean, like things 4 through 6, I'd probably do some good for other people. But he only asked me my top 3 things. You know what I mean? So, those are my top 3 things. Our next question is from Grum, Hot Boy Grum, to be precise. He says, I feel like this has been done by you, but also I feel like it's one that can change daily. So cast your perfect reality show with a retired athlete, a movie star, a musician, a traditional reality star, a social media star, a comedian, and a sports writer. Those are the 7. I got you. My retired athlete, I need somebody in the house that everybody hates, that everybody can come together if for no other reason than to hate. That's right, I've got Jerry Rice. I need Jerry Rice in the house. He's the retired athlete. Check that box. The movie star, I need somebody everybody likes. Right? He's the one or she's the one that keeps the peace. Everybody likes them. Give me Keanu Reeves. Everybody likes Keanu Reeves. Just seems like a nice guy. I like that guy. So Keanu Reeves is my movie star. My musician, I want somebody that everybody in the house is a little bit afraid of. Just to keep them on edge. You never know. You know, they might be in a good mood. They might shoot up your pillow. You know what I mean? I've got Young Thug. Give me Young Thug as my musician. For my traditional reality star, and this is somebody I think so famous now, it's easy, or maybe I forgot. Easy for me to say, I forgot she started on Love and Hip Hop. Give me Cardi B, man. I want Cardi in the house. My social media star, I really just need somebody to, keep it light. I thought about Drill here, but I decided against it. Give me Teriyaki Poppy, man. And if you're not familiar with Teriyaki Poppy, he do the TikToks with the crazy voices. Like the only one, I haven't seen a bad video from him yet. I'll say that. So I just need him doing just following Jerry Rice. Like, damn, Jerry Rice don't get no bitches. Like he just talk like that. So that'd be pretty funny to me. My comedian, I need somebody like in the house that everybody likes until that person like makes you hate them. So give me Larry David. I want Larry David just surrounded by other people, a lot poorer than he is. Except for maybe Keanu. Keanu got bread. But yeah, just like people are like, did Larry get on you guys for eating breakfast before lunch? He yelled at me for 45 minutes for eating breakfast before lunch. Something about why do we fall to the social conforms? Why don't we eat dinner first and then breakfast? I don't really understand, but he was very upset. So Larry David's a comedian. And the sports writer, this is probably the toughest one, honestly. But Grum, you didn't say they had to be alive. Give me Sid Hartman. Sid Hartman was the Minnesota area sports writer. He passed this in 2020. He was either 99 or 100. He was old as fuck is what I'm getting at. So I just need Sid Hartman in there. Basically just yelling at everyone. Like for being loud while he's trying to get some rest at like 4:30 p.m. Because he's dead. That's why I need this rest, because he's dead. No. But I need him like yelling at Cardi B. He's like, Bodak's not even a real word. Twerking's not a thing. You couldn't hold a candle. I've seen Tallulah Bankhead dance the Watusi. You are no Tallulah Bankhead, madam. Just saying random shit like that. And I think that's my cast, man. Like I wanted some more ladies in there, but I feel like you just watch reality TV. If it's two ladies, they're going to be pitted against each other no matter what. Even if they like each other, even though they're the same person, they're going to be pitted. They could be Siamese or I guess conjoined. I think conjoined is the phrasing. They're going to be pitted against each other. Plus, if I got Cardi in the house, I know she's going to have some friends. You know what I'm saying? She's going to have Hennessy Carolina, her sister, over. She's going to have some friends over to the house. So, yeah, give me Jerry Rice, Keanu Reeves, Young Thug, Cardi B, Teriyaki Poppy, Larry David, and Sid Hartman. I would watch that. I would watch that show. Next question. Says, Tyler, it seems like Georgia is always the home of the greatest election day shenanigans. Have you or any family or friends ever been victims to this? First, let me say this. Georgia flipping to a blue state and getting Warnock and John Ossoff and off. Let me say this. Side note to the side note. I've seen people on the timeline thirsting over John Ossoff. Just know, if you're thirsting over John Ossoff, you're not going to heaven, okay? It's fine, but I just want you to know that. So back to the original side note. It really does make me think of a tweet I saw during this. It's like, were a lot of these tweets read or were they literally voter suppressed? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think, oh yeah, they vote red again. Well, I mean, they are, but is it because they want to or because they've literally been voter suppressed for the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? But to answer the question, not to my knowledge in the election day shenanigans, but I will say I automatically just assume that any vote that I cast, I just assume that the machines aren't connected to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like they give you like that little card to go turn in. I just assume like all the ones in my precinct just go into scrap plastic. They just turned into like old like hotel key cards. And I do remember, it wasn't like blatant, but last year, I do remember this. It was for one of the primaries. I don't know which one, because I'm not a poli-sci guy. And I can't prove this, but I think that they snaked the line on purpose in a way to make it look longer than it was. And the way it was looking, like as long as you thought the line was like to deter people from stopping. Like, oh man, that line's too, like I'll be there all day. I was trying to vote on my lunch break or whatever. Because again, it was this summer. So like social distancing was a thing. People were 6 feet away in line and, you know, had their mask and everything. And it was outside and it was hot, right? Because again, Georgia, summer, like it was some runoff. I don't know what it was. It was some runoff. And it was the summer, again, people wearing masks outside, which makes it even hotter. And it was at this fire station. And they didn't start taking people inside the vacant fire station, right? There was no fire trucks in there. They were using it for a precinct that day. They didn't start taking people inside until there was a pregnant woman who was and I remember seeing, I was like, can they cut her like to the front of the line or get her a chair or something? Like she was very pregnant, the most pregnant. This one was 15 months pregnant. Until I think she finally like asked somebody, like, is there a place I can sit down or something? And then they finally started taking people inside. And once they snaked the line that way inside, it started moving much quicker. And it was in a way that didn't look nearly as intimidating. Because again, like when I pulled up, I was like, oh man, I ain't finna wait in line for this. But then I parked and was like, okay, like people are standing 6 feet long. The line looks longer than it is. And they just, it snaked in a way that was just not feasible for anything. It just didn't seem, and it wasn't people that did it that way. They were telling people to snake it that way. And I can only believe that it was just so nonsensical. I feel like it was made for people to be discouraged from voting. Because again, like the precinct where I live, like it's everybody there is black or brown. Right. So, and again, it's Georgia, the home of the shenanigans. So that's really the only one I could think of. But full disclosure, I don't think a single vote I've ever cast has been actually counted. So, next question is from Jeannie, the John King stan himself. Jeannie says, I have a question. What are your top 5 annoying things that can happen to you that you cannot control? To give an example, I called for a tow truck 3 hours ago. And there's no way I'm pushing this 1-ton truck. And I can't really complain to the tow truck company. So I'm essentially at their liberty. But alas, things of this nature. I got your 5, Jeannie. I got your 5. In no order. 1, hiccups. Can't control that. You'll never feel more helpless. You'll never feel more. Like, think of the toughest person you know, man. The baddest ass you know. The biggest, baddest, boldest, toughest, bravest, whatever man or woman you know. And just imagine them getting the hiccup. Like imagine George Foreman getting the hiccups. Just helpless. Like a little kitten. Your pocket getting caught on the door handle. Y'all had that happen to you? You just walking and the pocket of your pants or shorts gets caught on the door handle. And the thing that I hate this so much, this is how I know you can't control it. It never happened when you're in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? It never happened when you got a little time to kill or you're not in a rush anywhere. You just, almost ripped the pocket off my short. It's okay. I wasn't going anywhere anyway. It only happened when you're in a rush or in a bad mood. So that's 2. Getting stuck in traffic, but only because you want to like speed a little bit. I don't mean like bottleneck or like you behind a 4-car accident traffic. I mean like you're just trying to get around the slow cars and you can't because there are just more slow cars. That's pretty annoying. People stopping in the middle of public places, like in the streets. Big thing I noticed in New York, mostly New York and at the airport. 2 places that, I don't know, maybe I just never go again. Maybe that would just fix that for me. But like I'm a slow walker, extremely slow walker. So I get that. But I also, like I stay to the right, you pass to the left. And I never ever like just stop. You always pull onto the shoulder, right? It's like, oh, did I miss my gate? Oh, I want to, stop and get a water, whatever. You pull off, you figure it out and you get back into traffic. You don't ever just stop, but people just stop. White people just stop. They have like a whole 19 kids with them. Just stop. I don't like that. But my number 1, the rest of those weren't in order, but this is my number 1. There's another airport thing. It's just people not paying attention to things that they know they're going to have to do. Right? Like that kills me. Like you go to like a courthouse or again the airport and you see the 14 people in front of you take off your belt or take off their belt. And then you get up there and it's like, I have to take off my belt. This belt, this one around my waist, but it's leather. Yes, nigga, take it out. Like, what have you been doing? Like, you don't have no headphones on. You wasn't on the phone. You were just like, I didn't have to take it off when I was at the Alaska airport. Well, you at DFW, man. Like, you got to take that shit off. So, like, take it off or get the fuck out of line. So, yeah, those are my things. Those are my 5 most annoying things. Next question. And this can't remember how this came up, but it came up in the Discord. And the song Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Philip Bailey, banger, came up. And I said it was an elite song to come on like while you're in the grocery store. You're in the grocery store and hear that, it put a little pep in your step, your toes tapping, your shoulders shimmying. So the question was, out of curiosity, what will be the rest of that top 5? Might be a question for next week's fun report. This was a good one to do some research on too. 1, Easy Lover, Phil Collins and Philip Bailey. 2, The Best of My Love by The Emotions. Like, whoa, whoa, you got the best of my love. Whoa, whoa, banger. Another Mariah Carey, Emotions. Banger. When she be hitting them notes, man. And I remember being in the studio with Mariah. Never mind. I'm getting sidetracked. Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time. Because again, I talked about it earlier, like working in a grocery store, you walk around and you just randomly catch people singing songs. Like they either don't know you there and see you and stop. And it's like, listen, don't be embarrassed because me, 1, I'm 16. You shouldn't give a fuck about anything I have to say. And 2, I was singing along with Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time too. If you do look, you will find me. Time After Time. And the 5th song was the one you heard to open up this song. More Phil Collins, Studio, man. If you heard that intro today on this song and your shoulders didn't move a little bit, this might not be the podcast for you. Tyrese Maxey's just cooking right now. Can we get this guy some help? Can we get this guy an all-star big man and an all-star point guard to get him the ball, man? A real coach for once. Jesus Christ. But yeah, those are my top 5 grocery store songs. Y'all hit me with some other ones because I know it's way too many to list, but those are just my top 5 that, you know what I'm saying, I'll be doing drums on my shopping cart. I'm looking now like Kyrie didn't play today. He took off for personal reasons. It came out like Steve Nash asked him why. He didn't, I guess, text Steve Nash back. listen, respectfully, that ain't Steve Nash's business, right? Kyrie took a PTO day. Why he took that day, that's not our business. You know what I'm saying? And it came out, apparently, he told, let me see, I want to get the tweet right. He told Kyrie Irving's reasoning for not playing in tonight's game per a close source. I just didn't want to play. Translation, he took a personal day. Mental health is important. He took a personal day after the death of Kobe Bryant last year. That's from Scoop B. So, again, why he didn't want to play? Like, I just feel like that's going to be turned into something. Like, oh, Kyrie didn't want to play. I can't go to my job and say, I don't want to work. Well, be better at your, you know what I'm saying? If you were better at your job, you could. Whoever it is that's the best person at your job, they could say that. So if you can't, don't get mad at Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? So, again, man, he don't owe us nothing. I feel like that'll be taken the wrong way because it's him. I hope it's not, but man, again, we just don't know. Y'all remember when last year after Chadwick Boseman passed and people were like, hey, we got to start being kind to people because you never know what people are going through. And now Kyrie's like, I'm off for a mental day. And I feel like I'm already seeing in some of the mentions. I'm not going to read them, but it's there. It's there. And I really hope it don't turn into something. Kyrie, I know you're a ham champ. Take all the time you need, Daddy, yo. That ain't our business. That ain't nobody's business but yours, boss. Next question. About to wrap it up here. Not too long. Bobo says, do you think the sex man, Colin Sexton, has a legit shot at most improved player this year? He's scoring a ton, but doing little else on what looks like a bad, but not as terrible as advertised Cavs team. I would say, have a legit shot at most improved? Absolutely. He absolutely does. Through 7-8 games, he's shooting 53, 52, 83 from the field and averaging 25 a game. For a team, like you said, that they're better than advertised. We'll see if this keeps up. I don't have him in the playoffs or the play-in, but hey, prove me wrong. Again, I hope they do. Like the sex man from Georgia, I've long wanted J.B. Bickerstaff to get a shot, so I would love for them to make the playoffs. But he's just better, right? Like Sexton has improved every year. He was the last piece from the Kyrie trade, and his usage rate still high. His assist rate went up, though he's still he's not a primary, creator, which is fine. They got Garland for that. But the assists went up, the turnovers went down. I feel like he's been better defensively. I don't know if it's the scheme. I mean, more effort, but I don't know if it's the scheme is more beneficial to what he does well. But he's looked good. I do for this to be legit, the 53 from the field, 52 from 3, probably won't keep up. So it's going to be shot selection for him. 25, 26%. A solid quarter of his shots are coming from 10 feet, from beyond 10 feet, but in front of the 3-point line. The worst shots. That's a quarter of them. He already doesn't get to the line much. So he should probably just shoot more threes. And again, I ain't saying chuck up 9, 10, 11, but I think he's taking 3 or 4 a game and 3 or 4 free throws. So if one of those, if the free throws ain't going to change, shoot more threes, man. You shooting 52%. Hey, let that thing fly, buddy boy. But he's a legit contender, but this is going to be a good most improved class. Jaylen Brown's going to be in there. CJ McCollum has already won it, and this year he's up to 28 a game. Jeremy Grant, again, that contract got killed. He's averaging 24 a night and 6-7 rebounds. Julius Randle is basically a walking triple-double. Big market Nikola Jokic is what some are calling him. Christian Wood, you know what I'm saying? That's just 8-10 games. We'll see. 1 or 2 of these guys will probably drop off and some other guys will take their place. So we got a good class, and the sex man definitely deserves to be in that mix. Next question. It says, recently discussed your favorite Jordans and how classic the Air Jordan 1 is as a signature model. What are some of the opposite, the worst signature shoes for athletes that you can think of? Boy. Literally any of the Steph Currys. It's low-hanging fruit, but they failed that, man. The Under Armour logo just don't look good on shoes. I know you saw it running up the Capitol steps yesterday in abundance, but it just doesn't look good on a shoe. They just haven't given my man good shoe designs. Dwayne Wade had some real stinkers on his feet. Y'all remember Joakim Noah had a shoe? It had a rooster on him. Y'all remember that? If you don't remember that, look up the Joakim Noah shoe. It got a whole ass foghorn, leghorn on the side. The Kobe 2s, the Adidas Kobe 2s, them big ass moon boots, those are awful. And really kind of Adidas in general. Like when KG was with Adidas, D Rose, Dwight Howard, like Dame, Harden, Donovan, as a whole, I just don't know how well they're doing with like signature shoes. But the Stephs, man. The individual worst shoe I've seen here is the Kobe 2 moon boots. Like those was trash at the time. But the worst like signature line, it's gotta be the Stephs. Got to be. Next question. It says, thoughts on these potential NBA rule changes? I'm surprised sliding under an airborne player isn't already a foul, especially since there are similar protections for a player taking a jump shot. And the 3 rules that were listed is rule change propositions are 1, sliding under an airborne player to take a charge should be a flagrant foul. 2, intentional take fouls that prevent fast break should be penalized harshly. And 3, stop jumping into a trailing player should not be given free throws. So for those, I say, like for the first one, I'm fine with eliminating, or like I'm fine with it, like sliding under an airborne player should be a flagrant foul or something more serious than it is. I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with eliminating charges together, man. Just get that shit out of here, dog. Who is this benefiting? This ain't college ball. Get that out. I mean, it can go from college ball too, but get that out of here. 2, the intentional fouls. Like I'm fine with that. Like the clear path foul reviews take so long. Also, I would add in 24-second violations. Like you play great defense, you force up a terrible shot, get the rebound, and you have to stop and inbound it when you could have like a fast break. So get that out of there. I think that's the worst. The stop jumping, right? Like it's the Trae Young now. You come off a screen, and as soon as you come off the screen, you just stop cold and go up to shoot, let your defender run into you, bam, free throws. And I don't really hate that. Right, like Trae, not the first person to do it. I feel like Chris Paul been doing that forever. He's not the first to do it. Won't be the last. But I don't feel strongly enough about it either way. Like if they banned it, I'd be fine with it. If they kept it, I'd be fine with it. It's like the KD. I remember the KD rip through move. Like you try to play any kind of defense on KD, and because his arms are 9 feet long, he just rips through and gets a shooting foul. 2 free throws for a 99% free throw shooter. That was one I was like, oh man. It's like, but I didn't hate it, but I didn't love, like I didn't feel strong enough about it either way. So if they get rid of that, you wouldn't hear no belly aching from me. But a couple I would add, I've been saying, man, I think overtime games should go to an Elam ending. There is absolutely no need for a regular season game to go to like triple overtime. No need. Like 1 overtime, those guys exhausted. Just give them an Elam ending, man. Okay, we tied after regulation. 1st to 10. 1st to 10, right? Again, for a regular season game, there's just no need. I don't want to watch quadruple overtime. These guys are exhausted. It's horrible basketball. Get that out of here. And one, I thought about, like, not even trolling, but fake as a joke. Now, I don't know. A dunk should be worth 3 points. And I just want to stick it to the nerds. That's really all I want. Like, take your corner 3 and just stuff it, because it's worth the same exact points as a dunk. I'd also be fine with a layup being 1 point. Maybe even you could even say like fast break layup, right? If you lay up, over outstretched center's hand, yeah, that's 2 points. But a fast break layup, 1 point. Fast break dunk, no, it could still be 3. Like a fast break corner 3 is still 3 points. But just to eliminate some of that, where it's like, no, like a guy that shoots 37% from corner 3s is much more effective than like an all NBA power forward that doesn't shoot 3s that much. So take that, nerds, and stick it. Stick it. That's what I say. Next question is from King JTR. He says, when factoring in draft position, the development of the player, and the other players drafted after them, which of these draft picks ended up being more detrimental to the team? Andrew Wiggins or Marvin Bagley? And my answer there is Andrew Wiggins. 1, because he's a worse player. That's just what it comes down to. He's just a worse player. And 2, he still got the max. Like Bagley, I mean, he might, his pops keep tweeting, he might be traded by the time I publish this show. But he's better than Wiggins was. He's also not going to get the max. He's not going to get anything close to it. So give me that. Like, there were better players after Bagley in the draft, but he can still help Sacramento, right? Like, he's got to get healthy, but he can still help them. Wiggins never really helped anybody, you know? And I don't know how many of the players after Wiggins in that draft, like Embiid aside, are really like changing the trajectory of that team. And who knows if Embiid goes to Minnesota or Cleveland first, then Minnesota gets traded, who's to say they even let him just sit like 2 full years, like on a non-processed team? They might be like, yeah, no, we want the number 1 pick out there playing. Like, come play. Yeah, break your feet again. We don't care. We're a horrible organization. So, like, it was some good pieces in that draft. Like Aaron Gordon, Marcus Smart, Julius Randle, Saric. Jokic was in that draft. He'd probably be in the same boat as Embiid. I just don't know if you're changing, like, the trajectory of a god-awful franchise. But those guys, they'd still stink. They would still stink. So I'd go Wiggins, but it's still early. It's still time for Bagley to, stink more. Next question says, who are your most hated characters on any TV show or movie? Not sure if Trilly does a Harry Potter, but Professor Umbridge personally makes my blood boil. No, I've never read a page or seen a single minute of a Harry Potter movie, so I don't know what that means, but I'm sure a lot of people do, and I'm sure they agree that Umbridge is a bad guy or girl, or I don't know, or a wand. Maybe it's a wand, but some of just my most hated characters. Jimmy McNulty from The Wire. He's just a bad guy, man. He got way too many teeth. He got way too many hoes, and I don't like him. Catelyn Stark, Game of Thrones. Like, she's just a hater, man. Like, I can't stand a hater. Like, you just hating for no reason. She also got bad instincts. We talked the Red Wedding a little bit on Twitter, and it's like, how do you not see that coming? Like, what are you even here for, Mom? Like, Joffrey was hated, but he was a good villain. He was necessary. I just didn't like Catelyn. Never did. Oswald Mosley from Peaky Blinders, and you can tell by that mustache off the rip, like, hey, this motherfucker's evil. He's the devil, and he was. Darlene from Ozark, Darlene Snell. You can tell by people's eyes, man. She's just a mean person. And Nate Jacobs from Euphoria. I had to think of some shows I got to watch recently. Nate Jacobs was like the quarterback, the bad guy quarterback. I had to like look at a list to see like who I forgot, because again, I haven't seen like a whole lot of shows in their entirety. Jeremy Jam was on there from Parks and Recreation. I said, no, sir. No, sir. Jeremy Jam was an elite character, so not playing that shit. Next question from Jim Jam, 9000. He's an anti-sentient snowman, as we all know. So what's the biggest scam you have either seen, pulled off, or you have done? None, officer. None at all, Lieutenant Jim Jam. No, I wish I had a better answer. Right? Like, scam is not really my scene. I will say, a couple years ago on Twitter, somebody tried to scam me. Like, this was like so long ago. Like, I had my DMs open. That's how long ago this was. I wasn't yet a washed-up tape jockey. This was maybe 2012. I wasn't washed up to 2013. But somebody that followed me, DM me, and tried to scam me, saying like they needed some money to like send home to their brother back in like their home country. And I remember I was like, this is bizarre. And I told like a friend about it, and they were like, tell them you'll send them the money, but for a fee. And I was like, okay. So I sent that back in the DM. I was like, oh, that's horrible to hear. I hope your brother gets well. I got you. No problem at all. We talked some of the deets. That's details for people that don't know. And I was like, hey, I got you. You just shoot me a little something for my troubles, and I'll shoot something to him. And they were like, what you're trying to do is a commonly known practice by scammers. And then she blocked me. So real recognized real. She trying to scam me. I was trying to scam her, and she blocked me. So that's really the only, scam story I have. I wish I had a better one. Next question. Over the next 3 years, are you taking KD or LeBron? I didn't know if this was in their current situations. Like, do I get KD as part of the Nets, LeBron as part of the Lakers, or like in a vacuum. So I took it like in their current situations. So if it includes like this year, like we're talking like the rest of this year and then the following 2 years, give me LeBron. But if we're talking like this year is a wash, we're talking starting next year and then those 2 years following, then also give me LeBron. Because one, he's more durable. Two, he's close enough to like 5 titles, 6 titles. I know I'm getting the best version of whatever he got. Right? I know I'm getting that. Like KD has already started, like he's already moved. He's played more power forward this year than small forward, which makes sense, like for his, after his injury and the construction of their team. But like Bron hasn't moved to full-time power forward yet. Like once he does that, that's 2 more All-NBA years right there. Him just playing power forward. So like what, like in 3 years, like is Durant gonna move to center? Like he averaging 7 rebounds a game. You know what I'm saying? Bron can go to full-time forward. AD goes to full-time 5. That ain't no problem. So next 3 years, I got to go Bron James, man. Give me Bron James, because you're not going to have him hearing this quote, taking that out of context, and then putting it in a Nike commercial. No, sir. No, sir. Next question. On an early episode of the Fun Report, you mentioned a combo with your therapist about people being inherently good versus bad. We'd love to hear some of your favorite points your therapist has made to make us all feel a little better while you're running up the score. I mean, that wasn't a conversation a while ago with my therapist. That's literally the only conversation we ever have. Me, people are bad. Her, have you considered this? That's pretty much just how I go for an hour. But her points, like not so much that people aren't evil, right? She know that duck ain't flying over here. I'll get up and walk out. But her thing is more so like focus on the good people, right? Focus on the good people and try to be one of the good people that I'm looking for or that I'm saying don't exist, right? Like I say people are bad. She say, okay, how many people are bad? I say, 99% because I can't say 100%. And so she's like, okay, so if it's 99%, that means all people aren't bad. And then I yell at her and I break things at her office for arguing semantics. And she tells me to sit the fuck down. And I sit down. I just sit down. No, but she'll tell, like, if you don't see the good, then, like, try to be the good, right? Like, a thing that she tells me a lot, I guess something working on in the past 4 years, is, like, find you a you, right? Like, try to do and be things and be there for people in a way that you want them to. You know what I'm saying? I try to do things and I try to reach out for people and do things in a way that people didn't really do for me, right? So like the thing now, she's like, find you a you and no dice, right? And I was like, it's looking like I'm just not going to find that, right? But it still shouldn't stop me from trying to be that, if that makes sense. Like I've accepted, because I'm not gonna find somebody. That ain't even saying like that. I'm Mr. Great and all this. But I try. I legitimately I try to learn from my mistakes. Lord knows I made a lot of them. I've tried to, if I can pass it on so that somebody else don't have to make the mistakes I did. And I try to be that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also important to remember that it's times that people were good to you, right? And you either weren't able to be good to them, in the way that they needed, or weren't willing, right? So that's probably, I think that's the penalty I'm paying right now for the people that tried to be good and look out for me when I was younger and I just botched it. You know what I'm saying? So like I think of, and I talked about it last month. It's been a month since my friend's mother passed. And like she showed it for me at a time where like I didn't know I needed her, but I did. So you never really know when you're gonna need somebody. So just try to be ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of this makes sense, but just you try to be good, try to be ready, because you never know when somebody's gonna need a you. Like it's been a month now, almost a month to the day. I still think every single first text in the morning I get is her. I don't know when it's going to stop. I think it's like, 30 days to make a habit, 60 to break it. So I'm waiting for day 61. Because every single day I think it's going to be her, and it's not, and it never will be again. But that's what, to me, like being that good person looks like. So that's the main argument she make. She be on that bullshit though. Don't tell her I said that though. But she be on that bullshit. But next question is from the homie Pele. Pele said, "Is it wrong that I'm smoking on this Ashley Babbitt pack? I was truly excited to see a white terrorist receive consequences for their action." Ashley Babbitt's the lady that hopped through the window at the Capitol and they shot her in the neck and she died. Excited might be a little much. Excited, don't let me tell you how to feel, Pele, but excited might be a little much. But I will tell you this. I have learned that I don't have to be sad about people that didn't have my best interest in mind. Like, she died doing what she thought was right. She knew the risk before she went in there, you know what I'm saying? And just because somebody died don't mean that you have to feel bad about it, right? If they didn't have your best interest in mind, they wasn't fighting for, not even your best, anybody's best interest, right? Don't nobody believe that. They do believe that bullshit. That's the problem. But yeah, you don't have to, you don't have to throw a party, right? Like you know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody's rooting for the police to just start killing people. But again, they knew the risk of what they did before they went in there. And they released it today. She got in some trouble in the past. She was no angel, Pele. You remember they say that about us when we get killed? There was no angel. She probably got some detention or something when she was in 4th grade. She was no angel. But it's just so wild, right? Like hearing how tight the security, all this stuff is. If y'all remember a couple of years ago, there was a black lady that was driving to the Capitol, right? And she was at a checkpoint, a security checkpoint. She took a U-turn. And either during the U-turn or while she was backing up, something happened. 2 separate officers each fired 9 rounds into her car. Killed her. Like, she never even made it out of the car. Killed her. They got to the car, found out she had her 18-month-old daughter in the car. Right, so the daughter wasn't hit by any of the 18 bullets, thankfully. But that just shows you the rules are different. This woman broke into literally the Capitol, was climbing through like a broken window and took one in the neck. This woman, like, I think she was having some sort of mental health episode, right? And she got 18 rounds fired into the car with her and her 18-month-old daughter. I saw some pictures. They showed differently able, I think is the people with physical handicaps were protesting at the Capitol for like their health benefits. They was treated more harshly than the people yesterday was treated. Like, it's coming out, they're like, hey, people died. Man, them people died. They tased themselves and had heart attacks. They said medical emergencies. What that mean? Because Miriam Carey, that's the lady that drove to the Capitol and got shot. That wasn't a medical emergency. That was 2 cops firing 18 live rounds into her car. You know what I'm saying? They had snipers on the roof yesterday. And for what? What was they checking the weather? Like they wasn't gonna snipe nobody. And again, that's fine. I'm not rooting for the snipers to snipe anybody. But all this money and all this security and snipers on the roof and all this just for thousands of people to break in. And I think 4 people died. 3 of them was medical emergencies, whatever that means. So again, I won't tell you how to feel, Pele, because I said it earlier, but I enjoyed watching that shit just because it was like, wow, this is really some shit that don't affect me at all. Like when it's protesters versus the police, it's like I don't want them to start, like they're going to start shooting. And if they start shooting, it's going to be killing black people, black and brown men and women. But this, it was like, ain't none of us in there. I mean, there's a couple, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody that wears your uniform don't play for your team. So that's something you got to settle with, Pele. But I won't tell you not to be excited. That's something you got to figure out. Pele asked another second part, and this is the last question. I promise. This is it. No more. No mas. Pele said also, should I quit the Detroit Lions? I was born in 96, and they literally have never given me any joy. Pele, you knew what I was going to say before you asked this. You just wanted to hear it, and I'm going to tell you what you think you're going to hear. Yes. Quit them. Do it right now. You have no reason to believe it will get better. 0 reason. They've wasted 2 generational talent, like legit generational talents. Barry Sanders was a generational talent. Calvin Johnson was a generational talent. and they would be wasting a third right now. They just don't have it. Right? They just don't have a third to waste, or else they would. So get out right now. This is the time to pay late to anybody that's thinking about getting out on their team. You have to get out before the draft. I'm telling you, the draft is it's hope sold in like a purple tops. Like, you know what I'm saying? They sell hope like crack cocaine on draft day. So don't follow the draft coverage, because you're gonna think, oh man, that wide receiver we got in the 5th round, man, he kind of looking like Randy Moss. I think we kind of bet. That 7th round offensive tackle, he gonna show up the line. He's not even gonna make the team, dog, because they're a terrible organization and they scout horribly and they're running horribly. And if he's good, like really good, they're gonna waste his prime. So don't follow the draft. Don't follow the free agency cycle. Don't look up to like the coaching candidates, right? But if we get Eric Bieniemy in here, he'll change things. No, he won't, because it's not about the coach. It's never been about the coach with them. And you was born, like, I don't even remember that. Pele said he was born in 96. So you don't even remember Barry Sanders. I think Barry Sanders retired in like 99, 98, 99. So you was 2 or 3. You probably remember Barry like as a figure, but you don't remember like watching him live. And that's fine too. But in your lifetime alone, they've made 5 playoff games. And they haven't won any of them. Okay, so you're turning 25 this year. That's once every 5 years they make the playoffs. And it's always the wild card because they haven't won the division. So it's just once every 5 years you count on them making it and not doing shit. Last time they won a playoff game was 1991. 5 years before you was born, boss man. You know when their last playoff win before that was? 1957. 1957. So 1957 to 1991 is 34 years. 1991 to 2021, that's 30 years. Like, is this the kind of math you want to play? This is fun to you? This is what you want to kill 16 Sundays, a quarter of your Sundays a year? Watch the Lions be sad about them sucking and then go into work Monday feeling like you ain't have a weekend because you spent all Sunday sad because the Lions suck? Don't do this to yourself, man. It's not going to change. Like, why you keep giving them your attention, your time, your money? If a person was treating you the way the Lions treated you, you would have been cut them out your life. That's a fact. And if that don't get to you, I'll ask you this. Think about, like, you've been a Lions fan 24, 25 years. What would vindication look like? Right? Because this long, it can't just be winning a playoff game. Because for that, they'd have to make the playoffs. They don't do that very often. Again, 20% of the years of your life, they do that. And that's just making the playoffs. Well, to host a game, they'd have to win the division. They haven't did that in your lifetime. After that, they'd have to win a game to go to round 2. Probably play on the road. That hasn't happened in your lifetime. After that, they got to win one, go to the conference championship. Again, probably on the road. That hasn't happened in your lifetime. After that, you wait 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. They haven't done any of these things in your lifetime. Or your parents' lifetime. Like, you understand what I'm saying? You have no reason to think this is going to change. The Jaguars, number 1 pick in this draft, are an absolute shit show of an organization. And they've made the conference championship game as many times as the Lions have made the playoffs in your lifetime. That's a fact. It might even be more. I don't know what year the Jags start. I think they've made 3, but I think one was maybe been like 95 before. You might have been conceived, but not born. And that's the conference championship. And that's the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars, man. So I jump ship. Don't look back. Don't let that be just for Pele. Let that be for, if your sports team is not benefiting you in any way, you need to get the fuck out of Dodge, man. ASAP. So that'll do it for this week's show. Our first one of the new year. Happy New Year and all that BS. 2021 it's off to a start. But again, you made it through 2020. Somehow, you're still here. You're still kicking. You're still going. That should be celebrated because the shit wasn't easy. And a lot of people didn't make it. I lost some people in 2020. You probably lost some people in 2020. And it sucked, right? But we're still here. I can't promise 2021 is going to be any better. But I can tell you that 2020 is out of here, dog. Like it's one of those, like, what year did that happen? Was that 19? Nah, you gonna remember when some shit happened in 2020. And as tough as that shit was, if you listen to this, you made it and you still kicking. So order you a little, you know what I'm saying? Order you some fancy dinner. Get you a bottle of champagne. Splurge on that extra candle. You know what I'm saying? Do something to celebrate. Because I think it's worth celebrating. And that'll do it for this week. Thought about playing Studio again to take it out. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So, we'll catch you next week. Till then, wear your mask, wash your hands. I appreciate you all, as always. I love you all. Please be safe. And we'll catch you next time.